Yo, this is so funny. Oh my god, yo. Setting codes away. the way the way I feel like if this exits out, that means it's going to be a banger. I'm just
No,
say
no,
that.
for real. But what did I say when I got on? I said I feel like this gonna be one of the ones.
This is so annoying.
Oh my god.
Nah,
Now we
this
gotta
something gotta be because we can't do this every week. This is crazy.
now we gotta like fucking invite everybody back, bro. Like
Jesus Christ.
this is just corny, bro. Shit corny. On God. Can we get the title right? Cause we had a nice little title set up.
Yeah, hold
You know
on.
what I'm saying? I think that's gonna attract the vibes too. Fuck wrong with these niggas, yeah.
Nah,
On
this
some real shit.
I'm not gonna hold y'all. I'm gonna be so real right now. Like I'm calling racism. I'm calling racism. He see three beautiful black queens literally starting a beautiful conversation, and he said, "Hell no, the niggers will never thrive. Not on my internet." This is
No,
exactly
like
what is happening. I'm
no,
telling
Elon
you.
really stopping our bag. Like, so I really like fight.
Either that or somebody's reporting our spaces the minute we come on. Cause
That I
ain't
can
no
see that. I
way.
can see
Oh, you
that.
think somebody reporting us?
Cause that to me is crazy.
Who the
Like,
Oh
fuck
my
reporting
God,
us,
nobody
yo?
wants to hear y'all talk about Kendrick. Oh my God, fuck this page. Fuck y'all Kendrick
Nah, we
yo,
locked in with K Dot, bro. We locked the fuck in with
is
K
one of
Dot.
y'all BBL Drizzy niggas out there that's doing this? I can't believe this. This is crazy. The Drizzies is on us.
No,
They
the Drizzies
know.
is on our ass, bro.
They know. They be
The
like, nah,
Drizzies are
these
on our
stupid
ass.
bitches about to
Aubrey,
talk
they
about Kenny
plotting on
again.
you. They trying to take down your kingdom.
Yeah, nah, the Drizzies is on us.
Yo, this is crazy. Nah,
You
this
know what
is
I think going forward? When we post the flyer, I'm not gonna add a link for people to schedule it. I'm gonna just put the shit up once we ready to rock.
yeah, yeah.
Please call my mother and tell her. Please call my father and tell him.
Like,
What?
I can't believe this. Man, listen, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
First of all, Riley, you disrespectful as shit. You just popped up. Then you say
You
good
ain't even give
evening.
right. You ain't even give us a chance to open up the door and turn the lights on. You just popped up because you just knew tonight was the night.
Hello,
You the friend
Yancey.
that just show
Hello,
up before we even got the
Kia.
house ready.
Hello, Miss Milan. How are you doing? How's your day been?
Oh,
Don't get
Now
now
niggas,
smart,
right?
okay?
now
Now
Don't
you
do
niggas
mad
want to
you
be
get
that.
smart with
smart.
us.
You see
Now
what
you
you
get smart
see?
with us because we was working. We was working from home and he pulled up thinking the party would start.
I've been working from home too. I've been working from home too.
Damn. Show some
Everybody working
respect in this motherfucker. Anyways.
from what y'all looking
All
for?
right, y'all. We back again. You already know the vibes and what it is. And what it is reasonable dialogue. This
Per.
title is The Party Died because I mean this actually and I'm not trying to be funny when I say this. This is literally a double entendre headline. I'm not gonna lie, because we definitely have to RIP some legends that we were
Mm-hmm.
saying earlier before. Mr. James Earl Jones. Kia, you take it away because you was already running it. So, do your thing, sis. Do your thing.
But yeah, we lost James Earl Jones. He passed away on the 9th, which that was what, Monday, Tuesday. I don't keep track of dates anymore, but he passed away on the 9th.
I think so, yeah.
Um, James Earl Jones, he is like when you think of icon, like he's that. He's actually an EGOT winner. I'm not sure how many people know that, which means he has an
I didn't
Emmy, a
know
Grammy.
that.
Yeah, he has an Emmy, a Grammy, a Oscar, and a Tony. He was inducted into the American Theater Hall of Fame in '85 and the Kennedy Honors in I think '02. Um, from the South, but he has a very storied career. He actually played in August Wilson's Fences for all of my like Broadway buffs out there. But he was in movies like Doctor Strangelove for all my old heads out there who like that type of shit. He was in Claudine for anybody who was raised in a super black ass household. He was the voice of Darth Vader in Star Wars. In the original movie, he was of course in Coming to America, Field of Dreams, The Sandlot, and of course The Lion King. He was also in Roots. Like, he's an icon, a legend. Um, I know a lot of people have been bringing up, I guess, past remarks that he said about black women, but I'm just not going to include that. I just feel like if he ain't did nothing bad to him, if he ain't put his hands on him or nothing, hey, look, that's his opinion. But no, definitely a legend, an icon in the game. And it's so funny because he's one of those people that, like, I remember when, like, people would trend on Twitter, they'd be like, yeah, please don't take him. So it was like, to actually hop on Twitter and he was gone, it was like, damn, like, that's really, really crazy. Um,
Not please don't take him.
Not, it'd be a few on Twitter that they'd be like, yo, check on so and so, yo, check
Yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah.
So he was one of the ones that they would usually do that for. But I mean, he lived a very long life, a very fruitful life. He did
Yeah.
amazing things. I feel like once you make it past the age of 70, if you did some dope ass shit in your life, you good, bro. Like,
Yeah, I feel like honestly, like no offense, but it's kind of like okay to die after 70. Like,
that's
oh,
a
I'm
wild statement, but I agree.
but
I was like, wait, super
no,
pause.
no, because you know what? Because yes, if you young and you springy still, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, whatever. Listen, it's no disrespect once again. But if you live like a real full life, like at 70 going on, is like, okay, we could officially say, like, all right, you are a elder. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not no young auntie or uncle no more. Like, you are an elder, like senior citizen, AARP. You feel me? So that is like, it's okay. Like, yes, my heart hurts for the passing of him, and also Frankie, Beverly, who recently passed at 77 years old.
Hmm.
At the same time, these people definitely had major accomplishments and definitely held shit down while they were here, and for years too. It's not like it was like a 5-year run. Like, I'm talking like you've been around and embedded in black culture, you know what I'm saying? So they've done their thing. They rightfully could, have a I would say a peaceful passing, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, as long as it wasn't like, nothing too crazy or whatever. Like, they didn't live like hard lives. You get what I'm saying? Like, Frankie Beverly literally died doing what he loves to do. I think that's amazing when you really think about it, like the glass half full. So, once again, no disrespect, but I think they definitely lived a great life.
No, absolutely. And just moving on to Frankie Beverly, I mean, like, one of them ones, he was actually discovered by Marvin Gaye. Well, technically Marvin Gaye's sister-in-law, but yeah, he was discovered by Marvin Gaye. Him and, Frankie Beverly and Maze, because it is a band. Um, and yeah, like, he's actually from Philly, so shout out to Philly. Philly is one of those cities where when we talk about music, no matter what side of the spectrum it's on, whether it's like soul, whether it's hip hop, like, Philly has its hands deeply, deeply rooted in it. Like,
We could consider Philly a mecca of music if we want to be real.
oh,
Yeah.
Mecca of soul
I
music to me,
1000%
absolutely,
agree.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
I would
absolutely,
even
could.
say to some degree it was the birthplace of neo soul, in my opinion.
it is, it is,
Yeah, I would, I
Yeah.
would, I would, I would check it up to that. To be honest, like the
Hmm.
landscape of what's been birthed from there, like, and I feel, in my personal opinion, Philly doesn't get its just due in music conversations as much. Like, if you already are a music head and then you'll mention it. But I don't see it more on a broader spectrum, and not just outside of the festivals and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, it being one of those staples, if that makes sense. Like, in a reoccurring conversation, like, you always gonna mention Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? You always gonna mention, New York, but like Philly
oh,
also
Philly
being in
definitely
that
gets left out.
conversation. You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like, it's
yeah.
never mentioned in those type of conversations. So I would say, like, definitely a shout.
And it's crazy you say that because he was in a band before he was like, because this was like the doo wop era, and he was in a band before Maze, and the band that he was in, they didn't fit the Philly sound, and so he left and went to San Francisco, and then that's when they rebranded themselves as Raw Soul, and that's when they linked up with Marvin Gaye, and it was Marvin Gaye who told them to change their name to Maze, and then it became Frankie Beverly and Maze. So
Mm.
yeah, it's always, I think, to me, I think we kind of underestimate just how much all the dots connect. Like, we associate certain cities with certain sounds, but then we forget that there's a home base, there's a place that really kept one of those roots. I'm not sure how many of y'all on here are familiar with Gamble and Huff, but they're like literally the architects of the Philadelphia soul sound. Like they were the Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis or Babyface and L.A. Reid of their time. Um, and they worked with Frankie Beverly and Maze before they left and went to San Francisco. And we all know, if you black and was raised in a real black ass household, at least one Frankie Beverly and Maze song.
Yes, because the fucking discourse on
That was
Twitter
crazy,
about
bro.
never hearing it, it's like y'all show me every day why I really want to separate myself from you niggas, because it just makes me so sad. And I'm not saying that you, of course, you could have never ever heard it in your life, but to be black
This is
American.
hilarious to me because I haven't seen any of this commentary. I have no clue what y'all are
Oh
talking
yeah,
about.
I
Oh, you
did
haven't?
see.
I just
Yeah.
No.
Well,
because
the one tweet I saw, I think was a troll tweet, but it was like, I wasn't raised on Frankie Beverly and Maze. I was raised on Cecilia Cruz and
and
like everybody.
Gloria,
I was
like,
just like, Gloria Estefan, girl, we don't give a fuck.
that was just crazy to me. But listen, I can't judge everybody because I it just makes me be grateful of the fact that I grew up with some musical tastes, and not everybody
Fact.
got that. So I don't know what to tell y'all. But I wanted to ask y'all, right, because in light of a lot of our legends passing, especially in such a short amount of time, I mean, in the last 5 years, if we could really consider how many people we lost in just the last 5 years alone, is crazy to me. And I do feel like the landscape of music and what's happening currently, I do understand that times do change, we evolve, and we have to learn how to adapt as a people. But do you think, in losing our legends, do we have anybody in the current landscape of music that can at least follow up? Because these are staples in our community. You know what I'm saying? These are what we would say the reason why a lot of people are doing music. Do we have that currently, like a Frankie Beverly of today? You know what I'm saying? Do we have like a Quincy Jones, a Michael? Like, do we have that follow up, considering that we are losing legends and losing them at a rapid rate?
Ooh, that's such a loaded question. What I will say, I'll start by saying I feel like there are still people here today, obviously, who are considered that legendary status, who are legacy acts, as well as acts that are impactful enough, who aren't necessarily legacy yet, but are going to become that can still do that passing of the torch, um, and just sharing of information and wisdom and just the teachings and the history of the music and all the things that they did and put into this culture. Um, but I don't know if we could say that we have those legacy acts of today yet. Like I personally feel like Beyonce will become that. I think to me she's already that. But I know even in what she's doing for her own legacy, I don't feel like she would consider herself done. So I wouldn't even want to put her in the legacy box because she hasn't put herself in that. But I don't feel like we're at a place yet where we need to be considering some of these acts the so and so of today. I don't even feel like there's anybody that stands out that much yet to me personally to where I would even create those comparisons. Not maybe not in R&B. I could say there's definitely hip hop artists. Like I feel like we could say Kendrick is like today's Tupac. And I know there's people that would probably kill me over that opinion. But if we just talking about the impact and the messaging and what he's trying to do with the music, I would say he's trying to be the Tupac of today. There's
Somebody putting their thumbs down. They
yeah, like
breaking their thumbs to put
I
it
feel
down.
like I actually had this conversation with one of my friends. As far as like what like in action, I wouldn't necessarily compare them because I know Tupac was really bout that shit. Like he would go to jail for it. I don't know if I would put Kendrick in that box, but if we're just talking about the music and the impact it has and the messaging of it, I would compare the two. And I would say he is him of today. I wouldn't say they are the same.
Was Tupac's music that impactful?
I would say it is.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would definitely
I'll
say it
say it.
is.
Yes. Yes.
I'm sincerely asking the question. I just want
So
No.
here's my opinion on that. I
to
think
Kia.
that let me, yeah. I think that the music yes, it is like impactful, but you always need the imagery to go with it, right? Because when you hear a song, you visualize something. So you see
Yeah.
an image of Pac, whether that image is him holding the baby, whether that image is him with a circle of niggas around him, whether that
Mm,
image is him in the desert with Chris Tucker and Dr. Dre, like whatever that image is, whether it's him hanging out the window, man, fuck y'all motherfuckers. Like there is a certain image that is evoked when you think of Pac. It's almost like when you put on Billie Jean and you instantly think of Michael with that outfit on.
mm,
Like, and I think there's an association there between imagery and this visual iconography that we have almost like burned into our brains, and then the music that we listen to. I'll be honest, I was one of those people that growing up, I was a Biggie East Coast household.
mm,
So I didn't get into Pac until I got older on my own. But when I did get into Pac, I learned so much about him and his character.
mhm.
And I learned so much about the evolution of him as a man and who he was trying to find. I think we kind of get lost at like the last real project that he made physically on earth. He sounds very angry and disoriented and like bitter and violent, and it's
Mhm.
such a stark contrast from the man who was still violent but towards a certain angle, at the cops, at the system, at the government. The anger never left, it's just the target was changed.
Yeah.
So I think visual imagery is so important. Oh, I don't. Oh, Riley, you might have to. Okay,
I mean, them.
okay. But yeah, it's like I think sometimes we connect like the visual iconography of these artists to the message or the music, and it gives it a over um because I want to be respectful when I say this as well, because I think Pac deserves all the respect that he gets, but I think sometimes it can become a bit inflated, you know, if that makes sense.
No, it definitely makes sense. Actually, I was trying to share this post that somebody just sent. And
Yeah, sure
I
it
feel
too.
like I
To
might not
it.
be saying exactly what he was trying to say in this post, but that's
Yeah,
kind of what I was
Kenyatta
trying
said
to get
exactly.
to.
Yeah, like the
Yeah.
activist is the one who like we associate with because the activism is so deeply rooted in aspects of hip hop, especially at that
Mhm.
time. But the rapper gets a boost because of the imagery of Pac, the activist and the person and the aura, you know?
But
So
I would also say, I would argue, because I've had this conversation with somebody who grew up in that time, like he's older, 50s, 60s. And I would argue, do we feel like the rapping gets a boost because we don't connect with how his music sounds? Because I feel like people of that time, they fucked with his shit. Like that shit was fire. Whereas our generation is like, that's kind of mid. Granted, I don't feel that way, but there's a lot of people who would argue that his music was mid from our generation. And I feel like that's because we don't connect with that. But that doesn't necessarily mean the music was mid.
I
I
would
don't
agree
think
with
the music
that.
was mid at
I don't think
all.
it was mid.
Yeah,
I think it was fitting for the time.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
all music in that time, it was
Hmm.
more political than anything. Like I think we started diving more into the recreational kind of rap, if that makes sense, because white people infiltrating black culture, trying to dismantle us by any means necessary. So we turned from making music that's about something to making music that feels good, and now the feel good involves drugs and all this extra shit. So it's like that time of pop, yeah, that shit was fire, you know what I'm saying? I think even yeah, and I think for me at least, I I hear more of the what I would call it, more of the party music than like, of course we gonna fuck with a Brenda had a baby type shit, you know what I'm saying? But like, you know what I'm saying, like more of his party hits is something that I'm more so like, of course, vibed with. I'm not taking anything away from his other music, but that's more so what I know Pac of being like, the angry beefing with Biggie type of rapper and making party hits. And I mean, of course, I was still young too, but still, you know what I'm saying? Like, at least what I know now as an adult, like that's what I've basically had identified, him more so in that terms of a rapper than an activist, for me at least.
And I guess that's where I'm asking about as far as because in having this conversation with the person I'm referencing, as far as the older person, that was my frame of as far as like my experience with Tupac. It was more so like the party music. I didn't because I hadn't transparently done a deep dive into his catalog to know everything else that he made. Um, and I feel like so even when I brought it up, he's just like, "Girl, Tupac was really introspective in a lot of his music. Like he had a lot of shit that was introspective." So in that sense, it's more so why I'm saying like I could see for our generation, back to your original question, a Kendrick being compared to like a Tupac and being the Tupac of today. But I would say that my only thing with that is I don't necessarily consider Kendrick an activist in the way that Tupac was. Um but outside of him though, going back to your original question, I don't really like I just don't feel like the bar for music right now is where it was in the past for me to feel comfortable personally. Like I'm sure you can definitely make those connections like this person is the XYZ of today, but I personally can't make those connections cuz I don't feel like the bar is where it was. So I don't even want to put these people in the same boxes, and I'd rather just say, well, this person is that person of today. Like this is Beyonce is the Beyonce of today, or Victoria Monet is the Victoria Monet of today. She's not the whoever of yesterday. Like she's her. Like I don't really want to put people in these different comparison boxes, if that makes sense, because I don't feel like the bar is the same. Like I wouldn't, who would you compare to Michael Jackson? You get what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't put
Yeah.
nobody in the same box as a Prince or a Michael Jackson or a Biggie per se. Like I just wouldn't personally.
Yeah, I'm kind of over the whole like who's the next this, who the next this. It's like everybody like, and maybe this is just the music lover in me speaking, but I feel like you don't have the culture that we have without every single person that plays a role in it, without every single producer, every single writer, every single singer, rapper. You need each person to be a puzzle piece. Like we can't get to where we are without connecting the dots. So I never see the point in wondering who's the next of this because there's no way you could ever be that. That was a flash in the pan, whatever that moment was. Like there might be I think what we look for is not what's
We
next
need
as
to
far as
just
a
let it go.
person. No, I think we
Yeah.
look for a feeling. That's really what I think it is. I think we look for a feeling.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I
yeah.
remember when Little Nas X came out, everyone kept referencing Little Richard. And it
Mm.
wasn't because he was doing like granted he was doing things Little Richard did, but like it was that feeling that he gave you of like, oh, you just don't know what he's gonna say or what he's gonna do, and it's flamboyant and it's in your face and it's very gay and it's very this and it's very that, and it's that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like it's queer and it's here and it's in your face, and that's the same feeling people in the 50s got with Little Richard. I think what we look for, it's the same reason why people spend thousands of dollars to go see Beyonce. It is a feeling that you get that maybe mimics that of a Michael Jackson, of you about to pass out or oh my god, what the fuck is going on. I think what we look for is feeling, and if we're lacking in what we feel, then there's a problem in the music that's being made.
And I think further on that same point, I think it does a disservice to the artist, which is another reason why I don't really like doing the whole, well, who is the so and so today? Because you kind of just like, you're now looking for this artist to be a version of another artist rather than appreciating their music for what they're presenting to the world. Like, this is their artistry, these are their feelings, this is their experience of the world. They will never give us the same thing a Marvin Gaye gave us because they're not
Right,
going through what Marvin Gaye went through when he
right.
made that music. So why are we trying to turn this person into the Marvin Gaye of today when today is not that time period? Like it's just kind of fruitless in my opinion. It's a disservice to the artist and their
Yeah.
growth.
And I think we also find that when artists do try to like mimic what a person went through and do something, it comes off sometimes corny.
Mm-hmm.
How many of us dragged that Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak album and was like, "What the fuck is this?" like you know what I'm saying? Like it didn't feel like when you put on Blue Magic or when you put on the Delphonics or when you put on, you know, just certain groups that if you
Mm,
understand that time frame and that genre, it make you feel a certain way. We didn't
It's
get that.
authentic.
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
It's
Yeah.
that authentic feeling.
And I
Damn.
will
So
say
then,
too.
based on that, I mean, shit. No offense, the kid could sing. He could sing, but October London is a clone. Not, I don't want to say clone because
Okay,
that'll be
so
disrespectful to Marvin, to be honest. But he very much so knows how to sound like him, and you know what I'm saying. I feel like he's embodied so much of that. You can't really tell who he is as his own artist because it's just super similar to that. What would you say? Like,
so if you go through his catalog, I'm so glad you brought him up because I was thinking of him when I brought up Marvin Gaye.
okay,
You go through his catalog, he has so many different genres of music that he's put out prior to that album and that roll up or that whole rollout leading up to that album, where we know him as this kid that sounds like Marvin Gaye. Everything prior to that, it kind of like, not no disrespect, but it almost sounds all over the place. Like he kind of was just trying to figure out what worked for him. And I think he landed on that Marvin sound. It worked. And whatever label he was with or whoever he was working with asked him to lean into that. And that is where we get this project from. But if you hear his new music, and I'm saying this from my manager at Pandora, he interviewed him recently. So in speaking with him directly, he don't even want to have that sound. Like that's not the sound that he's trying to define his sound with. Like that was what worked at the time. He put out an album, is doing well, and now he's releasing new music for the next rollout, and it doesn't sound anything like that Marvin Gaye sound, which was what made me curious. Like, well, what the fuck? So I do want to clear that up. He isn't trying to. That's not the sound that he's going to be moving with going forward. His newer music sounds a lot more like him, but I think his team saw that that worked and they went with it.
I mean strategy. Hey,
Yeah.
yeah, but damn.
But to
Now,
your point
yeah.
though, what we were talking about, like I think that I saw from the older generation in the conversation around that album in particular, it was very mixed reviews because it's like on one tip, we thought that shit sounded. I thought it sounded really good personally. Like I thought the music was really fire. He sounded amazing. He did sound just like him, but at the same time, it's like you kind of that like there's nothing cute about copying another artist. Like that's not that actually lacks integrity in my opinion. Just artist to artist that you are not finding your own sound, rather trying to use someone else's sound to
Right, boost
you
your
know what I'm
own
saying?
stuff,
Yeah. So
which
I
now
feel
puts him
like
in a bind now because if he
mm-hmm,
does try to go in a direction that is authentic to him, people are not going to get it because they didn't get it before.
exactly. Which is I think it's gonna be a challenge for him releasing the newer music because it doesn't sound like that Marvin Gaye stuff that he was releasing. So I know for me, when I heard it, I was like, well, who is this? Because it sounded completely different. And I know for fans, it's gonna be the same reaction, like, whoa, like where is this coming from? Because this doesn't sound like the Marvin Gaye stuff that we got before. But again, what I was gonna say was with the older audience, they're not trying to hear a replica of Marvin. For all that, they would rather just hear Marvin Gaye. So it's
Facts.
like you kind of have that part of the conversation where it's like, we don't need you to be today's Marvin or today's whoever. Like we already got that. You can be yourself. Um,
Yes.
so
But I
I
will
just
say he got the aunties.
yeah, he do. Not all of them though. I will
The
say
No,
that.
not all
aunties.
of them, but I know no
Well,
because
okay. There's a
cause
difference. There's a
my mom,
difference. Which
yeah, well,
auntie is auntie with a T
no,
I
my mom is
E
probably
or
like
is
a
a
great auntie. My mom
oh?
is
So
like a
she's
great
an auntie
auntie.
with a T
My
Y.
mom is in her 60s. She a great auntie.
She a
Yeah.
T Y auntie. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Got
but
you.
my mom, she always keep like, I don't know how many people on here from the East Coast, but like, WBLS and shit like that on, and they play his shit like on, especially when he first dropped and he first got signed by Snoop Dogg. They was playing his shit on like every hour on the hour,
Ooh.
and she loved him so down. Like I remember his team had reached out about interviewing him, but I was going to be away for my birthday when he was in town, and my mom was so mad, like, you still can't give me no tickets. I'm like, damn girl, it ain't really Marvin, but again, it was the feeling that she was getting because every time her and my aunt would talk, it'd be like, yeah, he remind me of Marvin Gaye. Yeah, it's just the feeling of it, but it ain't really what's going on.
But
Got
even that,
you.
like outside of him, I feel like if I were an artist, why like is that what you would want your legacy to be diminished to? Like this is the person who sounded like another person their whole career? Like that to me is just like boo.
That ain't Ralph.
Boring.
But we do have somebody who have their hand. We have two hands now, but let's start with Alda.
Oh, that's my
If
friend. Hey, Al.
Miss Elda.
I finally caught y'all spaces, child. It's been a lot going
Yeah.
on.
What you
Um,
been doing, Chad?
I can't say on here. I can't say on here,
Oh,
but I've been having fun. I had a good summer, and summer's about to end. So yeah,
oh.
it's my favorite time of the year. But okay. So I do want to pose a question, which is, how do y'all feel about the investment in today's artists? Because I think that's a major point that goes into what y'all were talking about, just with the intergenerational part of the music. And I think like y'all were talking about like y'all parents too. And I have fairly young parents, but my parents like at that cusp where traditionally they would be aged out or they were starting to be aged out now. But my parents are still like, it's weird because the time that we're in, and like y'all were saying earlier, it's like we're stuck in this phase where we don't have that many artists that are like forward thinking, like that are giving us something. We have them, but it's a few. But that's not really like a theme that we see across the genre of like forward thinkers or innovators to balance out that old feeling that a lot of them are giving us. And I think one of y'all said this earlier. Y'all been sounding the same, and I'm high too, so I apologize if I get it mixed up with whoever said it. But one of y'all said it to where a lot of the older generation they don't want to hear the music from the new kids because a lot of it sounds like what they already know. In her, like I remember, like I don't listen to the radio now, but when I was writing my mother the other day, she was like pointing out the samples of songs without me even telling her because she was like, "Oh, that's such and such. Oh, this is such and such." And I mean, for like an hour straight, she was just going down each song that came on the radio and was like, "This remind me of this. This remind me of it." Well, shit, if I knew this, I'd have kept my old Walkman. I'd have kept my old Valentine's Day mix. And it's like I grew up with that, and like I remember like going to the bootleg and getting the CDs and all that. I remember burning CDs and all that stuff, but just from her perspective of there isn't nobody for her to invest in, and this is like as an older person, there isn't nobody new for her that she feels like she can invest in besides like Coco Jones. Like she likes Coco Jones. My mother loves Coco Jones down because, like for lack of better word, she reminds her of one of those old school R&B girlies, and she's coming out and my mother's like riding the wave with her, like she really want to go see her in concert. But then it got me to thinking as to, okay, well, she doesn't really feel like there is any new artists that kind of are, like I was saying, authentic or them, and then they try to be something else, or they try to go with the feeling that they remind us of. And then, like I was saying, when they switch up and they come out with a different sound or whatever, it's like their fans or who was supposed to be supporting them abandons them altogether. And I feel like that's like a major point that needs to be talked about where we don't have enough people actually investing in the artists to where we can actually see them grow to be like what we're saying, like grow to be the legacies. It's like now, like shit, if you come out with a sophomore album that we don't like, oh shit, you done for. Like you flopped. You're a rap. And I'm like, okay, like I don't know. I kind of give grace to the experimental projects because that's when I feel like that's when the like that's when you see the magic happens. And like that's why I
Yeah,
feel like that
it's
can be,
it's it's growing with the artist.
yeah, like that's where they learn. Like they kind of learn like what works and what doesn't work. And like I was saying, like a lot of the music that we may think is good in the actual time it was in, it had mixed reviews. Like some people were not fucking with this shit. And I really appreciate once again one of y'all said like y'all were speaking with the older people because I do that a lot too when it comes to music to really figure out, okay, I don't know, I feel like music is how us as like generations can speak sometimes.
I love that you just said that. That's amazing. I
Yes,
agree.
yes,
Yes.
agree. Very much so.
You did your big one. You did your big one.
You ate that. Ah!
You a
But I don't know. I guess I could you, if you could you pinpoint everything you said into one question for us to answer?
Yeah, yeah. The investment of, and not more so like the older generation, but the investment of us like as the younger generation. Well, I guess we're not younger because we're getting aged out too, low key, but just that part in particular of the investment in the actual artist, like because it's not it to me it's not fair. Like it's like these artists like damned if they do and damned if they don't. And it's like if they
Mm.
come, it's like they gotta come straight out of a cannon and just pierce everything and not like, It's yeah, that's the best way I can explain it.
So I mean, I guess what I'm kind of pulling out, I feel like for one, we're not in the same time where we can depend on the label to do the development. Like, I don't feel like the label actually has the resources that we think they have to be able to dump into the development of every artist on their roster. Like, obviously on the most technical term, yes, they obviously have the money, but to justify the money, I don't think they have the funds to be able to justify that kind of spend on an artist that might flop right now, because they're dumping so much money into these TikTok acts and these acts that are already pretty much established and trying to essentially just capitalize off of what's already working. Um, but I will say, I don't have an answer to your question, but I can say a remedy for that, right? Like, I feel like what artists need to be focusing their energy towards in this landscape right now is developing a team around them that is hyper focused on their development, regardless of what a fan will say, right? Because a fan, essentially, most listeners are casual listeners, so they gonna like whatever you give them, and you can't necessarily listen to what the fan wants all the time. And I feel like a lot of what we're seeing with these artists flip flopping so much is more so coming from them listening to their fans, whether that be how quickly they release music, what type of music they release, what playlists they're getting on, and who's listening to those playlists. Like, everything is determined right now. Like, a lot of these artists are like, well, the fans want this, so I'm gonna do that. Y'all want this kind of music, so I'm gonna make that kind of music. They see what's trending and what fans are gravitating towards, so they're just gonna do that in hopes to essentially get on or break through based off of what they think fans are looking for, rather than putting a team around them that is like, nah, we're locking in on this, and we're going to develop this sound, and we're going to build an audience around this sound, and this is the sound that we're going to keep giving them until it works. And I feel like a lot of what I hear when I'm talking to a lot of these artists is they just don't have teams that believe in them. And when I say teams, I'm not talking about the label team. I'm talking about your direct team before you even get to a major
Yes.
label. I'm talking
Yep.
about
Yeah, I
who is
received
the
that.
who are the producers you're working with, and are they locked? Like, you need to be locked in with your producer. Like, I feel
Yes.
like we don't see enough where the producer and the artist are just locked in for a long period of
Yes.
time, and you are
Yes.
developing your sound with that producer or that group of producers, and that's your team. Like, who is your A&R? Like, is your A&R really locked into what you're trying to do, and are y'all trying to build y'all sound together and finding the right features for you, and not just paying whoever because this look is gonna make you stand out from everybody else? Because I see
The
that a lot.
A&Rs are on Twitter asking us who's hot.
Bro, the
Yeah.
A&Rs are texting me.
And
They're
I think that
asking
goes to
us
my
who's
point.
hot.
Like everybody is nope. It's like the blind is leading the blind. Like how y'all
The
supposed to be
plot
the
has
A and
been
R?
lost.
Yeah, like the plot has
Yeah.
been
It's
lost. Like we're
been lost
losing
a long time.
recipes by the
Yes.
day.
Yes. Yes.
And so I feel like y'all get my point, right? So it's essentially
Yeah.
it's the team here, I think, and that's where we have to start when we're talking about this investment in artist development. It's really who is around the artist on the ground level, like, and staying. Like, you need to put people around you who are really there for you and trying to push you forward, help you develop. And then once you make that work, then you take that to the distro or the label or whatever, and then they just essentially helping you at that point. It's not necessarily that you're depending on them to develop you, because they're not gonna do it no more. Like, it's just is what it is.
Yeah.
Granted, like, I feel like RCA and to some degree Def Jam, like, there's a couple labels that are still doing that artist development with a few of their acts, but as um like a one size fits all for every artist, they're definitely not developing everybody, and you really cannot go into the music industry expecting the label to do it anymore. Like, we're not in the 90s and the 2000s. Like, this is not the period that we're in no more. We can't expect that from them.
And I feel
Yeah.
like y'all remember the blog era when like we were writing it out with the small artists. Like I missed that whole like underground like coming up with the artist moment. Like y'all couldn't tell me shit when the weekend was first out, signing depressed. I just knew he was gonna take over art. Like I missed that growth with the artist, like before they even like hit the even mainstream. Like I used to
Mm-hmm.
think that I was the badass A&R because I could pick out a new artist that nobody knew of, and as soon as they blew up, I was like, I was
I knew
there.
it.
I
Yep.
was there since day one. I missed that shit.
Like you said, we losing recipes, man. And they're funneling money into the wrong spaces. honestly speaking. The instant gratification game is what's truly being more bought into than anything. That's why artist development is lacking. And I also have this theory because the a lot of the label jobs that have been disappearing and people are losing their positions, it's a lot of black jobs. It's a lot of black positions. And I do have a theory that because of the landscape of how music, specifically hip hop, R&B type of thing, because quote unquote is not moving the needle enough, that's the reason why they also are dismantling a lot of like the smaller, labels, and like really like firing a lot of people, which ultimately are the black sectors in music. Like, I don't know. I just have that theory that is because of the lack of what our music honestly is producing, and it's just a theory, but because of that lack of it is a reason also, just on top of them being greedy, but just another reason of why, you know what I mean, like those specific jobs are also disappearing.
What I say from what I'm seeing on the back end is prior to like all of these layoffs, right? So when we were in a better place, because I don't think we were in a great place recently, but when we were in a better place, you have a lot of these black executives and these marketers and A&Rs and a lot of these people who actually are connected to the culture in these label rooms, right? And they're not given the resources or the trust by the C-suite to make the decisions necessary in order to make these artists' careers do what they need to do. They're not allowing some of these A&Rs to sign the artists that they really do believe in, and now you have these A&Rs working with artists that they don't actually care for, who are a lot of time assigned by the label. These aren't always the A&Rs aren't always working with artists that they sign. Um, so as a result, you have a bunch of black people in these spaces that actually would be able to move the needle if they were given the trust and the resources to do so, that now cannot move the needle because they're being handicapped by the label. And then because they can't move the needle, that then leads to, oh, well, we're depressed because we don't know how to make the music industry work anymore. Then that leads to, because it's not lucrative, you're firing them now because you didn't give them the trust and resources they needed in the first place. And now the industry is where it's at. And that's my opinion on what's happening in the music industry. I feel like y'all didn't trust us to begin with to make this shit work. Now it's not working. And because it's not working, because y'all didn't trust them to do their jobs, now you're firing them because they can't make money. And it's just like, I don't, it's really backwards in my opinion.
Yeah, and I could tell in the production of some of these songs, like so and so ain't hear that. Ain't nobody else heard this. You
Right.
sure?
Like, no, real shit. Like, for example, the Kalani record, it being off key. Nobody around heard it, caught it, peeped it. It took a TikToker bringing it to the forefront, and this is no disrespect to Kalani. I love Kalani, but it took a TikToker bring it to the forefront of like making fun of it, like not making fun of it, but like dancing to it. Like, I love Kalani, da 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 da, even though her song is off key, and a lot of other people started mentioning that, like, yo, I thought it was just me. I thought it was just me. Blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? And then it was brought to her attention, of course, because it went viral, and she did admit that it was off key and that they caught it and decided to release it being in the proper key, et cetera, et cetera. That's a major artist. And somebody missed the ball, dropped the ball on that little itty bitty thing that could have probably changed the course of how that single could have went, because if it wasn't digestible to a lot of people, thank God we have people that don't have, certain ears, perfect, pitch or whatever, like it could have went bad for her. You know what I'm saying? So even on that level, like, what's happening? You know what I'm saying? Like, things are truly happening that should not be happening. And I agree with you, Jan, 1,000% They did not trust anybody in the positions that they were in. They try to quickly produce things on a time strain. Like, it used to be like at least the artist, you had to had at least like a year worth of something. Now they was like, nah, we need it in 3 months now, like 2 even. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a really wicked, greedy game, and it's really due to them honestly just being greedy. That's just really what it boils down to, just being greedy. Wanted to make music a quick flip when it's not. Music takes time. It's something that you have to literally put in the oven. You got to season that bitch. Like, that's why we have what we have now in music, because people are just rushing everything. Everything has to just be produced because we need to recoup what we invested, and it's just a money and numbers game. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
I'd be glad when they learn that they need to teach these dancers how to perform again, because that's what's dropping these damn award show viewership. Because can't nobody fucking dance and perform now. But I won't wake that up. Y'all got another hand.
I was literally about to say, Riley, I see your hand is raised. What's up, Riley?
Um, just run me back the question or the subject matter, and then I'll go from there.
Man.
Run me back the question. All right, I'll just go off your title. The party died. All right, but to go back to your artist development, y'all 100% right. People don't have the temperament to do artist development. Now it's go figure it out. Get hot quick, and when you get hot, then we'll see. Then we'll see about you. But you got to maintain the consistency that you brought up here. Now you're pressured. Now you're pressured to do a single by for fucking following trends, and that means listening to people that don't know what the fuck they're talking about, which means social media. That's why I also always say this on Twitter. Artists, do whatever the fuck you want. People do not know what they want. They only think that they do. If it was up to you, like we seen it with the whole Kendrick debacle. Kendrick don't make no bangers. He don't play no shit you can play in the car. He not like us came out. Well, Kendrick don't make no shit. That's whatever the fuck. Then he came out what he just came out with. People are never gonna be satisfied regardless. If you try to chase everyone, you'll catch no one. So you might as well do whatever the fuck you want to do. And yeah, that's my shit for now.
All right, man. You got your shit off, Riley. Speaking of Kenny, glad that you brought that up.
Wait. We did bring one more person up. I want to see.
Oh, we did? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
because
Oh
Dylan.
yeah, I had brought him up.
Dylan.
Yes, Dylan. Dylan is one of my really, really.
What's
No,
up,
no, no.
y'all?
I gotta
Y'all can hear me?
no.
No.
Dylan,
Yes.
I gotta introduce you. Dylan, I have to
What's up? How y'all
introduce
doing?
you to the people.
Yeah, I've been meaning to come to one of these for a minute. Congrats, these are so fire.
No, fuck
I
that,
just,
Dylan.
I just,
I'm
I
here
just
for
wanted
you.
to, I wanted to harp on a couple things about like artist development and just like, I mean, like I'm somebody who spends a lot of time in like, I'm somebody who spends a lot of time in the indie space, and just like seeing what people have been able to accomplish with like no label support and sometimes like anti-label support, like people just like pushing down on everything they have going on is like amazing to me. And like obviously not everybody's in that position, like to be able to make it shake. But like I do miss a time when like we were talking about the blog era when like you'll have like a currency like turn down everything going on with Young Money, Cash Money, or like Wiz work his way up, or Mac work his way up, or Tyler and OF work their way up. And like one R&B artist who's kind of been on her own wave for a good minute is somebody named Liv. She's from Texas. Liv is she put out a crazy project called Girl and a Half Girl last year. That's doesn't like it's like this really beautiful mix of like R&B, soul, and like jungle and drum and bass music. And like she's kind of off in her own lane, doing her own thing. And there are so many indie artists that I love and appreciate. Like quite a few of them are in here now. I see Jire's in here. I see Gerard's in here. Like every like people like them are like making a wave on their own. And I like to encourage that as much as I can, even though I know how hard it is. Like they really have like the toughest job in the business, like like selling yourself. And you have a team that pushes you, but like doing that by yourself is so difficult. And like a lot of that goes on the audience to be, like to be curious and receptive to stuff like that. And I feel like a big part of it is like niggas don't want to look for shit anymore. Like I hate to like put it on the audience.
Nah,
Like
you're right.
sometimes
Niggas are
people
fucking
like
lazy as shit, you pieces of
Wait,
shit.
can y'all hear me?
We can hear you now. Yeah.
I actually wanted to introduce
yeah.
Dylan because I wanted y'all to really know how fucking dope Dylan is. So that's why I was mad as shit. Like Elon
Nah,
was
go
fucking
ahead.
with
I
me.
think you still should because I fuck with Dylan. Please do
So
his intro. Thank you very much.
so Dylan like probably likes to play it cool, but he's probably Like, I don't respect. No, let me not say that. Let me not say that. Dylan knows me. Let me not say that. I respect Dylan to the umpteenth degree. One of the greatest writers that I know. One of the most dedicated writers that I know. One of the most helpful people that I know. The person that says your names in the rooms when you don't know that they're saying it. Um, Dylan writes for Pitchfork, but of course he's written for like every other place because he's fucking Dylan. But his reviews, everything he's doing with his platform, with Real Notes, his podcast. I mean, he's done live recordings, the guests that he's had on there. He, to me, is someone who is forging a path within media that if you aren't tapped in, you're gonna lose out. And he's pioneering a renaissance that I think is slowly happening. And I'm just really proud to call you a friend, and I love you.
Oh man, I don't, I'm just a vessel, man. Thank you. That means the world. Like I'm just happy to be here. Kia, thank you. Honestly. Yeah, like I'm just yeah, nah, like Kia, Jan, I'm proud of y'all and like everything you've managed to do. And like that's like like I saw this is happening. Like, I'm just so happy to be here. And like I just like I use every platform I can to just like I just want to put on. There's so much cool shit out here, and like everyone's main question is like, what should I be listening to? And like I just want to help instruct, or not even instruct, that's the wrong word. I just want to like point people in the right direction and give context where it's necessary, give flowers where it's necessary, and talk about bullshit where it's necessary, because like I think all of that's fun. I want to be fair, but I also don't want to be giving niggas buddy passes for no reason. Like I want to, like sometimes shit's not good and we can like break down why it's not good, or like sometimes things, whatever. I'm not here to talk about me. I'm here to talk about the fact that like we're, like I feel like we're kind of in like an indie renaissance right now, and there's hella people out here trying to get different pieces of the pie across, like particularly across R&B and rap, but like pretty much every genre. Like I think like a lot of people are realizing now just how valuable it is to be independent, and how valuable it is to like y'all were saying, like make your team and just go for the goal. Because like you don't like, not to say you don't need the labels, because like like everyone's deal is different, but like there are so many ways. I like to think of it like having like a bin full of Legos, where like you might like come to the bin, with a bunch of ideas and be like, I want to make like the Simpson house, I want to make some Harry Potter shit or some Marvel shit, and then you get in there and you see all the pieces, and it's like out of nowhere all the ideas go, and it's like, the fuck do I do with all this? So it's like navigating that is tough, and anybody who could do it is a superhero. So yeah, peace to y'all.
I love that. I love that. And you're
Thank you,
absolutely right.
Dylan.
Love you forever, Dylan, bro.
You're so right. I mean,
I
listen,
love y'all more,
that's
man.
the time that we're in, bro. You have to get it out the mud and just establish yourself. But guess what? It's better leverage. I tell you that. It's better leverage. It really is, because nobody could negotiate with you any kind of terms that you don't want because of the work that you have already built. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. The label is really the machine. I'll tell you that right now. The marketing dollars come from the label and stuff like that. And the budgets, yes, for the touring and stuff like that definitely help. But if you could really build a organic, solid, in-home, in-house kind of team, and I'm talking about some loyal motherfuckers, some real dogs that want to get it out the mud because they want to see you win. You know what I mean? Like, you will literally be successful, like, for sure, for sure.
And
I
you
think too, I wanted to speak a little bit to one of the points that Dylan was making as far as just like the time that we're in and the
Hmm.
listeners being so lazy. I think as much as like I see a lot of conversation around gatekeeping and how we need to get rid of the gatekeeper. I feel like gatekeeping is probably more important now than it was before. Um and I feel like we need to be highly intentional about who we're putting in gatekeeping roles, because the gatekeepers are essentially curating what is the artist of tomorrow. Like, we're the people who are telling y'all or showing y'all and putting y'all to directions of, these are the people that we're going to be watching for the next 10 years. These are the people that are going to be influencing us for the next 10, 15 years, which is why I think it's so important. Like, it's a couple in the audience, like Elsie's fucking crazy. Like, she's incredible. Um,
And shout out
Shout
to
out to
Elsie.
yeah.
Elsie.
And like even the writers, right? Like we need the quality writers still like where they're so important to the culture because they're literally note taking and keeping track of history. Like we don't need the bullshit.
Bring
And
back
like
real
we
journalism.
need that. And I feel like as cringy as the conversation is of gatekeeping is, as far as just like who is a gatekeeper, what does that entail? Like, why does this person get to determine X, Y, Z? Like, you still need that because there is no like there's no barrier to entry anymore. So like, we need somebody or somebodies to essentially maintain some level of
Quality
quality.
control.
Yes,
That's
like
what we're
quality and control,
missing.
literally.
We're literally just letting all of the deformed and the mishaps and the pieces that don't fit just be right through the damn little
Mm-hmm.
the damn belt. Like, we need quality control. It needs to be handpicked. It needs to be
Yeah.
homegrown. It needs to be nurtured. It needs to be dedicated. Like, we need quality control. Like,
Yeah.
that's why I always thought QC's label name was fire, because I'm like, okay, based on your artist, I ain't gonna be mad. You do got a little quality control over there, okay? You're not just letting anybody, sit in a room. But yeah, that's one of the biggest things we're missing. And our voices, us being like, I get we have A&Rs in the labels, but we got to give respect to the street A&Rs, those that be the real pulse
Yes.
of the culture. They know, they've been there, they're in the studios, they are on the Spotify when there's just 1,000 people following them. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are the people that
Mm-hmm.
definitely need their just due. So I don't know, man. I don't
So
know.
yeah, shout out to you, Elsie. We see you, girl.
All right, we gonna get into this because this is what the party is about tonight, y'all.
Did the party finally die?
The party finally died. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out because Kenny, big Kenny, not the little one, okay, dropped Watch the Party Die right after his thriving success of, announcing Super Bowl and all that, snazzy jazz. But I will say, listening to it, he's definitely not taking one shot
Oh,
towards
definitely not.
anybody. This is the AK-47. He's spinning in a circle with it now. Like, it's just, hey, everybody getting hit. Your mama, your daddy, your brother, your sister, your auntie, everybody getting hit. So do we want to do a lyrical breakdown, or we just want to discuss it, bring people up? Which I want to do.
I mean, I guess we should give our reactions first. Like, I mean, I wasn't expecting a Kendrick Lamar song.
With the Black Forces, that man is diabolical. I ain't gonna lie. That
Yeah,
Gemini.
no. The Black Forces is wild. I'm not even gonna hold you.
Do you know what the Black Forces even like symbolize? Like,
Yes. So actually the Black Forces, they come from like a screenshot of a pair of black Nike Air Forces that were randomly sold on eBay for $70. Um Literally they were sold at Wednesday, September 11th at 5:17 p.m. And that's the photo of these vintage Nike Air Forces off of eBay that someone bought.
so what did the someone who put the Nike Black Forces on eBay do in them?
Well, we don't
Did
know.
he catch a body? Like,
we
what's
we
the
don't we don't know. All we know is that there was an eBay listing of these sneakers, and they had some black Air Forces for $70, and he used
I
the
think
picture.
niggas just wanted some beat up pair of forces and just found one and that was the cover and
He
boom.
definitely Googled like beat up Nike black Air Forces.
because forces in at least the Black community, it just means you are somebody we really shouldn't have around. Like, if somebody came in a party with some Black Forces in a
You know they
hoodie,
either about to shoot this
they on
place
some
up. I know definitely
bullshit.
finna shoot. They definitely finna shoot.
They on some bullshit. So
Yeah.
him making that like a cover and dropping this song was like, all right, well, what kind of bullshit you about to be on right now? Because I'm trying to understand.
And that's what I took from it. Like, I didn't take it from the Black Forces being this song, but took it as like, okay, he putting his sneakers on.
Right.
Like,
I
y'all know what I mean?
agree.
Like, let me put my sneakers on. Like, okay, he got him some sneakers on 9/11. Yeah, I don't think, yeah. I
And
think
what
that's what's
about the
setting the
date
tone.
of it though? Like,
Bro,
it
he
being
keeps
dropped
doing
on
this on
9/11?
American holidays. What the fuck is wrong with this man?
It is American holidays.
9/11, Juneteenth, 4th of July.
me, I kind of took it like it was like a hit on the culture, like a major hit on the culture, rather, because we considering what happened on 9/11. I kind of that was how I envisioned that personally.
Yes, because 9/11 is very significant now. Like, we know what that means when this day comes around. So for you to drop it on this day, not it's not funny. You know what I mean? But
Is it? Can we? Okay. Is
And
it
that's what I
time?
think
Side
is
note.
nuanced.
Wait. Side note. Can you make 9/11 jokes now, or that's like forever done? You know how they say it's like a time frame on things, like because I saw a lot of people doing like the joke of like I guess it was like Drake's face photoshopped on top of Bush's body, and it was like Kendrick just hit the second plane, and I'm like, are we allowed to make those kind of jokes? Or
for me, because I have some decorum in my life, I tend not to make those jokes because, people eventually and obviously did die in it. So for me, it's kind of like, I guess I'm that, at that stage where it's kind of distasteful. It's like, oh, okay, I get it, but do we have to laugh at it? Like, could we have left it off the table? Absolutely. So that's just for me. That's just for me.
I take the 9/11 jokes as like the whole Dave Chappelle trans thing again. Like it's there. It's like dark humor, but it's like a low hanging fruit. Like, do you really
Yes.
need it to be funny?
Right. There we go. It is low,
I
hell
like
hanging
that.
fruit.
I like
Yes.
that. I like that. So I guess
But
we should just. Oh, what was you gonna say, Al?
I was gonna say it's nuance, which I was saying about like what 9/11 really meant because it was like when that shit happened. All right, cool. It was devastating, but America like pull up their pants and was about to squabble. So that's why I'm like, he dropped this on 9/11, not only with the forces letting us know this nigga's not done. Like, he ready for round two. Like, he finna pull up his pants again and he finna get back in the street. And that's why I think it's so nuanced with him dropping it on 9/11 because it's like, I feel like it's nuanced because it was what Drake was saying. Like, don't run now. So, oh, I can't explain this, but
I don't feel like this was a Drake diss though. It's like I kind of agree
I
with what
don't
you're
think it
saying to
was a
some
Can
diss
I
for
degree,
go through
him,
but
but
some
I
lyrics?
think I
Can we
think it was just
can we go
like
through some lyrics?
overall for the industry, like letting people know. Like you
yeah.
ever notice? Well, have you ever whooped somebody ass and it's like, all right, come here, let me finish beating your ass because you gonna know. I feel like this is not necessarily for Drake, but this is Kendrick making a statement for the next time one of you niggas, even one of you niggas in the press, want to get froggy.
Mm.
I'm beating the industry ass so much to where they know like it's I feel like this is school again. Like once you
Okay,
beat one nigga
Al,
ass,
I want to go through some of the lyrics.
okay, go ahead.
Yes. Yes.
I
Yes.
know Al like that, so I can be like, Al, I'm ready to go through some of the lyrics. The rest of y'all up here, y'all do that, I'm gonna cut you out. But Al's different. That's my brother. Y'all different. So I guess we'll start off with like the first part. He says, I think it's time to watch the party die. This shit done got too wicked to apologize. It's different. Get him whacked and disqualified. I love talking through rap lyrics. It's so fun. Um, he said we even kill the killers because they like taking innocent lives. Burn a whole village. We start over. It's really that time. Okay, I want to stop right there, right? I want to stop right there. Because is Kendrick willing to burn the whole hip hop world down to build it back up?
Yes, absolutely.
Mm.
But what does that mean? If we're
Uh,
gonna burn down hip hop and rebuild it, what does that mean?
So I've been dying. I feel like the
Yes.
party is it essentially represents everything within the culture, within the industry, um, within America, whatever, you name it. Like you could put that in any reference or framing rather that enables people like Drake, including Drake, to exist in the way that they do. I feel like that is the party and the party is over.
mhm.
So in that sense, it's like he's saying all of that shit that enabled all of this bullshit is done. And we are willing to burn it down. So I don't even necessarily think he's willing to burn everything down. I think he's saying put them niggas who enable this shit on that little ship and send them niggas over there because we have other things to build over here that are centered in integrity and code. That's how I took that track
Yeah,
personally.
before you even before we move any further, Elsie, if you're okay with it, or if you even in the mood, I would love for you to come up here. We very rarely have women come up here, and I think you are one of the women that I would love to hear from. I've never had a chance to directly hear any of your spaces, but yeah, if you open to it, would love to have you up here.
And
To talk.
Jazz as well too. Jazz is in the
Yes,
Yes,
audience. Like
yes,
women.
Jazz.
yeah, 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 yeah,
I'm about to
yeah.
invite you, Jazz. So Jazz literally said she would love to
Sorry,
moderate.
niggers, we don't want you.
Yeah, I don't really want the. I mean, we can keep my
No
brother
offense,
up
no
here.
offense,
Yeah, we can
no
keep my
offense,
brother up here,
y'all.
but like,
No offense, no offense. But we, you know, if no, like Josh, we could have Josh J up too because he always have great opinions, and
oh yeah, no, 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 no.
Kenyatta too, the regular guys. But yeah, requests if anybody. Okay, so are we done with that line? Are we moving on?
Oh yeah, my fault. I started smoking. Okay.
Is we Maya? I'm moving
I'm
on.
moving on. Okay. He said, "Why are you with these clowns if the circus is well at work?" Woo, that was a line. That was a bar. He did that. He ate that. Um, just walk that man down. That'll do everyone a solid. It's love, but tough love sometimes got to result in violence. So, are we still continuing with this thought that he loves Drake, but he just being tough on him, or we really think this nigga hate him?
Listen, you told a nigga you want him to die. I don't think that's no goddamn tough love. What the hell is this? A TV show? This
He
is
also said he's an
hatred.
old school Gemini.
So he got both sides of the coin. So one minute he
No, he
feels
don't.
some way, next minute he don't. Listen, the way how he was going in, I don't think. And the things you were saying, my brother, I'm sorry, you called that man a pedophile. You called that man a pedophile. You called Drizzy Arbery, okay, a pedophile. You gonna have to stand on business behind that, Kenny. I'm not gonna lie. We can't backtrack. I'm
Well,
sorry.
the next line after that is, if you parade in gluttony without giving truth to the youth, the graveyard is company. Just tell us what casket to choose. Now, a lot of people called out that um oh, food is here. Thank you. That he did drop this at the same time as the VMAs. So what do you guys feel about this? Because now I feel like we get into the part where we're fully on the culture at this point.
Kid, what do you think?
Wait, y'all want me to answer my own question?
Yes, I do actually.
Because you're very insightful. So I would like to.
What you mean? Well, why don't one of y'all go? Why I gotta answer my own question
Oh
first?
my gosh, I'll pop it off. Okay,
Go
and I'll keep it
ahead.
short and sweet. Because this is what I goes to what I think he was saying to earlier. I don't think necessarily he personally dislikes Drake's. I think he wants to do everything to kind of kill that fake tough shit and everything that goes along with it industry wide. Like that whole, I don't know, it's kind of weird with that whole fake tough shit in the industry. And not only that, but not giving truth to the actual people. Like, I don't know. I feel like that line was kind of simple, but then also it's like so much behind it because of what he's seeing on his end. When he sees these niggas that's playing tough, he sees these niggas that's draining us, and they're coming up off of what is actually going on, and then they just flipping it and just like talking shit about. Like they making light of what niggas actually going through
Like they
without
cosplaying, basically.
yeah,
Like
they
you acting like a
cosplaying
fake gangster.
without
I
actually
feel like
giving back.
considering that, I don't think he likes him then. Because LA niggas is one thing about it. If you a fake phony ass nigga, they don't like you.
But I feel like for him, it's not personal. I think it's just what Drake represents industry and as into the culture. I think that's what he's trying to break. Like, don't look at this as the culture because this is cosplay.
I see the point you're making there, which has been a lot of even I forgot which one was it, but where he was getting his street credit from, and he kept naming everybody that Drake would run to get some type of street credit from, and
But I
it's
guess
never been, go ahead.
to that point though, it's like, is it well, it's obviously cosplay, but like to me, that is a reflection of your character. Like if you a fake ass nigga, you gonna do fake ass shit. Like a real nigga not doing cosplay, in my opinion. So it's like It's cosplay and you full of shit and you're a fake ass nigga and you're not really about none of the shit you rap about, and that's
And that's
that.
what I think is nuanced because what y'all was saying earlier is not only to Drake but also to the industry that's upholding the constant cosplay. Because we keep seeing niggas coming up now where it's like it's cool now to be cosplaying as like you a street nigga without actually breathing life back into the people that's really out here struggling and doing this shit for real, for real. So that's what I think he's saying. Like I think he really wants to expose all this shit to kind of put hip hop back to where we supposed to be looking at like with the real niggas and not the niggas
I
that's
agree.
cosplaying.
Yeah, I agree with
Okay,
that.
so the real reason I couldn't answer my own question is because my dad walked in here. I already told y'all he spent over $1,000 on this damn dog. He walked in here with another bag, a leash, a damn collar. I am so sick of him. And mind you, she was chilling in the corner like she was minding her business. And then they come over here, they try to pick her up. She over here, she's standing against the wall. I didn't even know she could stand against the wall. Okay, I'm back.
Wait, we have Jazz's hand raised, so we're gonna
Oh
go
no, Jazz go
Jazz
crazy. Jazz go
and
crazy.
then Kenyatta after Jazz.
First of all, I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for having me and this being a safe and welcoming space. I'm loving everything that has been said. I did lose my train of thought a little bit, but I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna bring it back, y'all. But ultimately, what I took away from this song in general, and y'all, you touched on it, and Al, is just like I don't think this was directly aimed at Drake. I think this is aimed at what Drake represents, this song specifically. And I think, too, if you add on all the controversy that was around, him being a Super Bowl pick and that, I think he is great at transmuting energy. Like, that is one of my favorite things about Kendrick Lamar as an MC and as a human being. And I think he took all of that energy and said, you know what? And it goes back to that line, how many bitches harder than a lot of you niggas? Like, I think he was really at a point where it's like, who else is going to call this shit out aside from me? Like if I got to make it straight plain and even go as far as, saying would trade all of y'all for Nip, I can't be proud of you niggas. Like that's how far as I'm go because that's how bad it's reached. Because even when you think about from my perspective, it was even hard for me to speak on the whole Super Bowl Kendrick Wayne situation because at the end of the day, I was looking at it from a perspective of like, wow, here's a young man that came from a black city, black label, like, and is now leading the Super Bowl, not even taking into account everybody else's perception on that, which blindsided me because it just showed me like as a culture, like, wow, this is where we are, where we don't even have, spaces publicly where we can, talk, but not to the world. I don't know. I hope I'm making sense, but I just hate sometimes when it comes off like we're attacking each other in front of everybody, because then that only creates more reasons for Kendrick to go off like he does. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'm gonna pause, but that's my take on it for right now.
No, I love that perspective. Thank you so much, Jazz. Because I felt the same way when I was hearing everything. It's like we look mad crazy right now as a hip hop community. If you a lover of hip hop or just music or black music culture, whatever, we look mad dumb right now over here talking about some, oh, Kendrick don't deserve it. And now we gotta sit here and list out his accolades to go against another rapper who we shouldn't have to even go against. Like it shouldn't have to. What happened when that was announced is ridiculous. Like, and nobody ever gonna hold my opinion back on that. I think a lot of people were being obtuse because one, a lot of people don't understand how the Super Bowl works, and then two, I feel like I guess because with the rise of social media, things that once weren't that important or probably weren't in the back of people's mind for real, all of a sudden become, if you don't get down, all of a sudden they like become things that we like people want to talk about, people want to be a part of. The Super Bowl done been around for how long? Lil Wayne done been around for how long? Birdman and them done been around for how long? And ain't nobody ever asked once. The Super Bowl done been in New Orleans once before, and ain't nobody yelled
Wasn't it
Actually,
13 times?
actually, yeah, it was 11 times
Oh,
before.
11.
And
11.
Okay.
now Kendrick is now the fucking performer and now it's a problem. Like, what about the other 10 times?
I think honestly, I think it's one of those simplest things, and it kind of answers like what y'all was saying about social media. It's one of those things where, as a collective, a bunch of people looked up in one time and said, "Damn, for real?" Like I don't think I think it was one of those things where
Mhm.
nobody paid attention to. Like y'all said, y'all are right. Nobody paid attention to it. Nobody would care fucking less. But this was just so happened to be the year where a bunch of niggas looked up, and of course, we all collectively on a social media app called Twitter. All it takes for the shit, all it takes was for a little group of niggas to say, "Wait a minute." And I'm not even gonna lie, I'm one of those people who were on the side like, damn, we ain't never had winning the Super Bowl. But it was just not more along the lines of Kendrick didn't deserve. Like I thought that shit was crazy too. I never came up as of Kendrick didn't deserve this, but more along the lines of damn, Wayne ain't never did it. Like that was like my kind of thought process by it. But yeah, that was to that extent because now it's over and done with shit. I can't fight none of their asses shit, and I don't know what Wayne gonna do up there no way. But I digress.
That part.
I mean, it's about performance. Let's be honest. It has nothing to do with hits. It has nothing to do with. I mean, it has a little bit to do with some hits, but it's really performance based. Like every artist that you have seen grace the Super Bowl stage has been a performer. I'm not saying Lil Wayne can't perform, but he's not a performer, if that makes sense to the people that got common sense.
Yeah,
Anyways, you get it? Okay,
yeah,
thank you. All
And
right.
I also just think that like everything don't have to be for us by us. And I don't know if I'm a little
Uh,
like on the
uh,
other side
let's
with
be
that,
real. Let's
but
be
I'm not
real.
looking for the
Shake
Super
the
Bowl to
table.
highlight black culture and black music. I show up to talk my pop cultural bullshit, to laugh if there's something funny, like when it was the dancing sharks with Katy Perry, or when Justin Timberlake was up there yelling and they matched him up with that white man that was yelling in the mountains. Like I tune in for that shit. I tune in for the spectacle of what it is because that's all the Super Bowl halftime has ever been, is a spectacle. Prior to Michael Jackson, they used to have ice skating, they used to have circus acts, rings acts. It's just something to pass the time during a football game.
Come on, the
And then
historian.
sometimes you gotta let the kids know. And then that's when In Living Color decided, well, since y'all ain't doing nothing in the that halftime slot, we'll do something. They did something. Ratings was like in the millions off the charts, way higher than what the Super Bowl was. Obviously, the Super Bowl can't have that. So what do? They call the only other option you can call in 1993, and that's Michael fucking Jackson. And it is because of Michael. People still say to this day, I only do the Super Bowl because I saw Michael Jackson do it. And to be quite frank with y'all, the only reason Michael Jackson did it was because it was a good opportunity to like get awareness about his charity. He only did it for his charity. Literally. He didn't even want to do it. He was only going to go up there and perform Heal the World.
I
And
can
the
see your frustrations. You hitting the shit
and
out
the
your lap.
execs, no, for real. And the execs were like, you can't come up here and just do Heal the World. He said, fine, then I'll throw in Billie Jean and some other little shit, and boom, we'll keep it moving. So it's crazy to me that people have put this hyper independence on a moment that you only care about because of one man who didn't even care that much about it. He only did it for his foundation.
Hello. Truth teller.
Good night.
So we got two more hands raised. We got Kenyatta. You can go ahead, and then Nostradamus after Kenyatta.
Yo, I put this tweet that somebody put up, and it was a video of Nipsey sort on academics on something he said on Complex, and I feel like it's a good articulation of the tone that Kendrick was speaking to on the project. Like he had this moment where he was like, it got to a point in hip hop where people who were not from the community or from authentically the things that kind of brought us all together, right? Like the roots of everything, speaking so casually and treating people that we honor and respect and things that we hold a lot of dignity for casually. And I think that's sometimes getting missed, even in the Drake beef. Like as much as we talk about some of the skating things Kendrick said, there was that line he said where he was like, "Yo, keep making me dance, keep waving my hands." I think it was like everything is going to be okay because I feel like it's not really a beef on Drake specifically, but almost like he was a sacrificial lamb for the beef on where the state of hip hop is today. And I feel like the new record is just a reinforcement of that, especially after seeing like commentary from people like Mo, people like Act, seeing the way that, the timeline went crazy. even from the announcement of him doing the Super Bowl, it's like, hey, yo, we're losing a plot. And it's like, yo, let's hit the reset button real quick. Like, let's get back to what this thing is supposed to be. And let's stop acting goofy for the sake of entertainment.
I love that. And I'm going to just be honest. I want y'all to stop listening to anything academics or Maul ever has to say. I promise you, your brain cells, they're depleting every single time you listen to them niggas. I promise you. Promise you. All right.
Who is Maul?
Exactly. Exactly. Moving
No,
along.
I'm so serious.
I
I'm
know you
literally so
are, but
That
serious.
is
not.
so. Joe Budden used to have two co-hosts, Rory and Maul is the second co-host. They no longer,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay, so there was two dudes that was on the Joe Budden podcast. All right.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
He's
the
the
thing
brown skin
is,
one.
like, the thing is, niggas could respect a nigga's opinion if it's real. Like, when it comes into the territories, like how they be doing it, it's like, come on now. Like, niggas cannot take you for anything because you're so diluted with just, let me not, because I'm gonna get into territories of being
No,
disrespectful.
facts. I
All
think
right,
why these spaces matter so much. Like that's
right.
reasonable dialogue matters
Cause
so much.
we fans, like, let's be honest. A lot of us are fans of both of Kendrick and Drake, but we're gonna call a fucking spade a spade, and we're gonna tell the truth when the truth needs to be told. When you try to be too like cliquish or whatever that is, that doesn't help the elevation of hip hop. Just my personal opinion. If we're gonna be real, like we need people that are gonna be honest about shit. Like we said, we need quality control. But moving along, who we got?
Yo, you had Mo really sit there and say "Not Like Us" wasn't even hot. Like that's how you, like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's how you know it's cat.
Like,
That's
come
how you know
on.
it's like
You
coming
don't
from a
gotta like the
completely different
guy, but
space.
give him his tens. That's all we saying. Like, come on. Like, you'll be more respected in that regard. Like, I would take a person's opinion if a person can be like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I really don't fuck with him, but that shit was fire. Like the beat, da 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 da. And that's about it. That's all I gotta add. I'll take your opinion any day. Cause at least you could be deemed trustworthy. But you look like you get paid to have opinions, and that's what's fucking up hip hop.
All right, Nostradamus, you had your hand up. What's up?
Yeah. So, by the way, my name is pronounced Nostradamus.
Oops, sorry.
Oh,
Like Nas, Nostradamus.
There it is.
Okay,
okay,
okay.
Yeah, you
Nostradamus.
see
I see it.
it. But yeah, in reference to the Super Bowl, because I'm glad that y'all brought that up. So I think this whole conversation, like the song, that the reason that it dropped was because if you look at Jay Electronica's timeline, like he was going off for a while, and like the backlash that Kendrick was receiving from him receiving the announcement about him performing, he was saying like, "Yo, like, what is wrong with you niggas? Like, these niggas are tripping because Kendrick is supposed to be performing. Like, baby, why you got something to say? You should be talking to Leo Corinne and all these different people who are in the executive seats." And I feel like I can imagine Jay Electronica, Jay Z, and Kendrick just all being in a group chat and just convincing Kendrick to drop the song, which everybody probably didn't even see coming. But I think it was perfect timing because it's really just a statement for the entire culture and where it's at. I also think that the title of the song, Watch the Party Die, could be a reference to Meet the Grams, this line where Kendrick says, "I'm sorry, Aubrey, but I had to crash your party." And that could be representing what like somebody else was saying earlier, how Drake represents what's going on in the state of the culture today, like materialism and superficial topics, things like that. So I just think that the whole conversation from like the Super Bowl is what started the what made Kendrick drop the song. I'll end there.
I agree, and I low-key feel like he recorded that shit the day he dropped it. I don't feel like that was something that was in the tuck and he been waiting to release it on 9/11 and boom, here we are. Like I think he saw what everybody was saying, felt the way about it, and was like, you know what? Bet. And here we
Cause
are.
Cause he literally got the studio in his pocket. He just pulls it out, starts recording, immediately puts it out. Like I feel like that's the type of time Kendrick is on. Like it's just too crazy. It's too crazy.
And that's
But
the
I love
marketing
it.
I like. I
I
like that
like
type of
it.
marketing.
That's that. You know what that is? That's that grungy motherfucking guerrilla style marketing. That's what y'all need to get back to. That's what's missing. I keep trying to tell y'all, we losing recipes. That guerrilla style grungy marketing, baby, used to eat the streets up.
That is Black Forest energy, to be honest.
Yep.
That's what that is to me. That's how I interpreted that.
Yeah, that was. I think that was. I think this single was a great way to wrap up the
Mhm.
Lil Wayne conversation and redirect the hype back onto him doing the Super
Exactly.
Bowl, and he did it perfectly without really saying a word, but just giving us something to listen to kind of rebuild that hype.
Mhm.
And this is why he's performing at the Super Bowl.
Exactly. Because it was,
So
man, I'm not gonna lie. Aside from other people's antics jumping in with they narcissistic personalities that we don't got to get into, I think even like people was weaponizing their fan bases. Like it was getting crazy,
Girl,
and
I
God
feel
will
like every
punish
time
you.
we
God will
looked on the
punish you.
timeline, it was like, yo, like, so all y'all just gonna jump in with the bullshit? Like, what is happening right now?
You know what it was too? Like low key, a lot of them, whoever had anything to say, thought Wayne was gonna bring them out some way, somehow. That's what
I
I
feel
really
that
feel
way
like.
too. I feel
I've
that way
always
too.
felt that way. No offense. Trust me. I love, 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 love the hot boys. I love, 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 love. But come on now. Y'all are just really saying this because you're expecting that
Niggas really
opportunity
think
to
that
make it about you.
niggas think Andy and fucking Fort Lauderdale wanna hear I need a hot girl and I'm a hot. Dumb niggas don't wanna. Larry, that is in his 70s and just retired in Minnesota, does not wanna fucking hear. Doot, 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 doot.
She said she got a lollipop and I got a lollipop. And you know that dread be hanging on by a thread sometimes. He needs to be presentable. Like this is what we're trying to say. No offense, but the fucking Super Bowl halftime show is for performers
It's like when
only.
you got that uncle that you gotta get him dressed up and get his hair done and everything before you take him around to white people. Cause if not, they gonna judge y'all. So it's like, all right, we gotta take you to the corner and get you together real quick because we
Not too
can't
much, because
walk up
I
there.
got one of them. Not too much now,
I
okay?
got one of them. Not only
Oh
do I
my
have one of them, I
god.
think my family invented them because there's so many in my family. But sometimes you just gotta get them a little dressed up, take them to the corner, get them right. You,
Not Zoe in the back agreeing. I
Zoe,
love
like,
that.
right, that's right,
Zoe, like no
period.
facts. But
Kia,
no, like,
please continue the lyrics. We gotta finish this
but we
lyrical
still
break.
go. Oh my god, this nigga was going on. Shit, I mean,
Oh,
hold
wait,
on, let
wait,
me.
wait.
Oh,
We
do
got
y'all
one
want
more
to?
person. We got one person with their hand up. John Joseph, I think.
John
Yeah, John Juice.
Jacob Jamer Smith. His name was my name. My bad, y'all.
Y'all hype. Um, but yeah, what's up, y'all? By the way, y'all mentioned about something about Kendrick. I know one of his engineers, and he records extremely fast. Like the way he records and writes is
See,
kind of
I
nuts.
told y'all.
And also like, with the
It's
Lecrae,
on some Jigga shit. It's like on some like off the dome, just in the studio, like right away.
I can't specify, but
Okay, okay.
yeah,
I
he's
thought you had the insider
I
man.
do. I just don't want to, But
Respect, respect. Okay.
but yeah, all I know is he writes extremely fast, and I was gonna say something else, but going to the song, the Untitled song, I feel like I don't know if you guys heard. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard the Untitled project by Kendrick. I feel like there are parallels between this and the Untitled project, especially Untitled One, because one, this song is untitled, as well as he's talking about the decimation of humanity and the industry and the quote unquote the party died. Also, he's talking about the same thing in a perspective from Revelations on Untitled One. So if I was y'all, I'd probably go back and listen to Untitled One because I went back and listened to that, and he's talking about a lot of things about the decimation of humanity, talking about the perspective of an apocalypse and Untitled One. And this one, he's talking about a lot of things as far as industry stuff. He's saying, I wonder what Lecrae would do. And shout out to Lecrae, he's a Christian rapper. One of the reasons I started rapping, but he's fire, you know what I'm saying? And
I love Lecrae.
Lecrae has been,
Yeah, we love Lecrae over
he's
here.
been a pioneer in the CHH music industry for a very long time.
Yes, he
He's
has. He
broke down
deserves his flowers.
yeah, I worked with him. He's one of the craziest, nicest, most God fearing people you will ever meet. But I'm glad shout out to D1 as well too. But yeah, it just shows that Kendrick has an ear to a lot of the things that is going on. I feel like he's looking at the perspective like if I was like Lecrae, what would he do? And if pretty much speaking from the perspective of a God fearing like man, like he's like sounds like he's battling with himself. So yeah, just a lot of parallels between that. So just my perspective.
There's always a lot of
Like that.
God and religious like references in Kendrick's like verses and stuff. And like and I
Niggas be
always like
fighting demons.
no they do, but it's always interesting because like he actually performed with Prince one time. And Prince is one artist that I go back to when I think of sexuality, blackness, godliness, and religion. And so damn, it's moments like this where I'm like, damn, I wonder what would Prince think? like, like
I
I
think Prince will love it.
I think he would too, and I feel like he would chime in.
I think he would key. Oh my gosh, it would be a key for Prince, okay? Because it would be like, honey, you did that.
Cause even lines like in the chorus where he says like, God, give me life, dear God, please give me peace. Keep these lame niggas away from me. Keep me shining. The fuck do they really think? Like, those some direct ways to talk to God. I ain't gonna hold you. Like,
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was a prayer,
no, for
for
real.
real. No, I'm not even being funny. That was a dead ass prayer. Like, that's how you feel about your op. Like, please keep these type of niggas away from me. Like, I don't want no dealings, like nothing. So that's what I'm saying. He don't like this guy. I'm sorry.
Hey,
That's
that's
what I
how
was
we
saying
supposed to talk to
earlier.
God,
Oh,
though.
I don't feel like
That's
it's
how
a
you supposed to talk
Gemini
to God,
thing.
right?
Supposed to
Yeah.
Like,
talk
it's a
to God with
conversation.
transparency. Like we're supposed to talk to
Mm-hmm.
God transparency with like a lot of people think it's just like, oh yeah, I got to be all holy. Like where art thou, God? Like no, it's really just a conversation, having a relationship with your heavenly Father. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he really just having a conversation. That's literally how it should be. So yeah, essentially it is a prayer.
Yep. I love that. Come on, guys. Shout out to you. Kia, are you gonna finish?
Yeah, I got you. So we did the chorus. I don't think there were any in the remaining half of the last verse outside of when he talks about they glorify scamming. You get chipped over this credit card.
Oh, he
Influencers.
he in the
He
streets.
in the street streets. He talking to the scammers. He talking to
Oh,
all.
he saw what they did with Chase. He
He
saw.
saw what y'all did with Chase. He saw y'all outside in them lines, and he had some statements to make. Okay. He said influencers talk down because I'm not with the basic shit. Now the girlies were saying that this was addressed to AK. This was addressed to Ish, and that this was addressed to Maul. But they don't hate me. They hate the man that I represent. The type of man that never dick ride because I want a favor.
I mean, I feel like if we saying that this song was released in response to all the commentary around him announcing the Super Bowl, I feel like yes, it can be applied to them in particular. But I feel like this is to anybody who can, if the shoe fit, wear it, is what I got from this song in general. Like I feel like he's addressing anybody who ain't acting on code, no, everybody who doesn't have integrity, like whether like if you outside in the streets or if you at a label or if you are in the radio space, if you're a media personality, if you're an influencer, if that's how you move, this is addressed to you. That's how I took all of that. Like I feel like it was
I
very
agree.
pointed and general at the same time.
I told you he had the AK in a circle.
I, I
Nigga
also,
came on the. Oh, who's gonna speak? Who's about to say something?
oh my bad. I'm
No, go
Jazz.
ahead. Go ahead.
But I was also going to say too, I think the timing is also really unique. And ladies and gentlemen, please tell me if you think I'm reaching. But I also think it's crazy that again we're talking about energy, transmuting energy. We're also coming off that crazy ass debate. And when I think about our political climate too, you got this man going up against this clearly overqualified woman, and what that says and speaks for so many, not just black women but women in general in so many like corporate spaces. And then you have Kendrick again addressing in his bars and his messages like, I feel bad for the women, like I get what y'all going through, like, I think a lot of this is a real reflection of the times.
I ain't
And
gonna hold you, Jazz. I feel
I
the
like that
same
you brought
way.
that up. Yeah, that's a great point.
I just thought I was too high to kind of, cause it goes back to like the point I was saying earlier. it could be. I feel like this is a dog whistle to anybody that's being inauthentic or just cosplaying
Yep.
like they're good for something or for a cause. It doesn't have to be particularly like of what we've been seeing of like this infection in the music industry of like this inauthenticity, but also, like you just said, Jazz, the same could be applied to the political parties that we're seeing. Of obviously, we have one that's very inauthentic and is not being true to the cause of being true to the game, and it's like at least stand in your shit.
Agreed. 1,000%.
Well, going into the second verse, it gets real violent.
Wait,
I'm
no,
going
we
back.
got another hand. Hold on.
Oh,
My
oh,
bad.
my bestie, Larry, my bestie.
Burn it, go what?
How you doing? How you doing? How you doing?
Oh my God, I've never heard your voice. This is
Whoa, whoa,
crazy.
whoa, whoa.
Not too much on my
You
bestie. Not too much on my
you need a
bestie.
goddamn warning sign before you talk.
Yo.
That was me a few days ago, like last week when y'all were doing the Dochi shit, and I heard Tatiana's voice for the first time, and I'm like, first off, I'm like, is this your name? You go, where the fuck did you come from? Then I looked up, and it's like, oh shit, that makes sense. Got you.
Oh
Bet.
my God.
But yes, hello, nice to see y'all. And listen, right? And Kia knows this specifically. We've been on the phone. We
You
talked
ain't
about
even
it
tell me you
1,000
love me. That's
times.
crazy. Okay,
I mean, you know I love you. Like,
whatever.
to the moon and back. And, like, if I could make a spaceship just for you with your face on the side of it, I'd take it to the moon and go get some rocks and
All
bring
right,
it
thank
back
you. Now
for
you're
you.
doing too much. All right, thank
There
you.
we go. All right, boom. There you go. So, I mean, you look, that's what you wanted, right? So, boom, right? Off top, I love that we're getting back to collectively saying fuck academics. Vic Mensa was on the right side of history. We need to keep it that way. I hate this nigga with such a deep passion. Get back to saying fuck that nigga, Jerry the mouse face ass bitch, because that's not what we need. We don't need more of that. Fuck Adam 22. Fuck Vlad for real. Fuck Maul. All that nigga know. I'm not even gonna say the whole sentence. Niggas know what time it is. Like, fuck all of them for real. Niggas contribute nothing positive. Fake objectivity, no real criticism. Niggas is not serious. Beyond that, my nigga Kendrick rapping, and I love it. The whole thing about it not being directed directly at Drake, like Milan said, nigga definitely took his gun. He's spinning in a circle and hitting whoever don't got no Kevlar on.
Whoever. Period. That part.
Whoever don't have no Kevlar on, buddy. And if you lucky, you still might get headshot. So like, it don't mean nothing, right? But at the same time, and I hate to be that nigga, how serious is he about this critique? How committed is he to this critique? Because unfortunately, it's going to take a whole lot more than some cold ass raps to kind of do the shit he's aiming at. Never going to discourage a nigga from trying or starting. It all has to start from somewhere, and it's a lot of evil, muddy, nasty shit that's got to be dug up and shifted and eradicated, just point blank, period. We all seen the Diddy shit earlier with Don Richard. That shit is disgusting. Like, disgusting. And the whole thing about Usher, who was it? Usher, Neo, and somebody else, and they seen it and they say shit. It's not just Diddy. It's pacifiers, stand buyers, the whole shit.
God.
Everybody has to get reevaluated and reexamined. That's not to say that there's not some kind of, because power is a crazy thing. And as a standby nigga, how we interact with power is very tricky. It can be very delicate. And so you never want to just take that away. But also, Usher is Usher. Neo is Neo. The fuck you scared for? What you got to lose? One of you niggas has arguably a three-peat in R&B history that can't be touched. So what are you scared for? But that's how shit go. And when you combine that with just a general acceptance of misogyny and things of that nature, there's a lot of work that has to be done. A lot of work that, unfortunately, Mr. Lamar, as much as I love him, he's played into the hypocrisy himself, which he himself has called out at times. But even with the Dre popping up at the pop out shit, we understood the nuance of it, but it's still like, yo, your man's just caught. You know what I mean? He's still actively going against some shit. So when you talk about what you're talking about, now the asterisk is if you're not giving game in tandem, if you're not telling the truth in tandem, you can still stay on your ignorant shit, just tell the truth. And I think that's a fair thing to say because a lot of niggas are lying. A lot of niggas are lying. Let's be so very real. You're not like that. You've never been like that. Your neighbor from 50 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago can attest to the fact that you're not like that. She knows your mom very well. You're a good boy, my nigga. Why are you lying like this? It's not necessary. Like, we have to take care of niggas who are, because you know what's crazy? I've been looking for a reason to talk about this shit.
You from the suburbs and you want to gangbang. What the fuck?
Like, you really trying to, you 27 and you just started banging, my nigga. What are you doing?
You 36, nigga. You got jumped in. What the fuck is you doing?
Cut it
Hey,
out.
now y'all shooting at the industry. Why y'all shooting at the industry?
Look, you're at the playground bleeding out right now. You're at the playground bleeding out because you wanted to be hard, nigga.
You 44. You calling him big bro. He only 26.
It's that nigga don't even know your mother name. Why are you calling him big bro? What's going on? What are we doing? So, like, that's the thing, though. There are a lot of niggas who are not lying and need some serious help. I heard a Rob 49 verse on Herbo's new album, which is mad decent, actually. I liked it better than the last one. And he was talking about his mans who, you know, his profile's going up, but his mans are still at home. He just lost somebody. He's got a light drug addiction. Forgot the last time he seen that nigga cry. And he wants to go out and hurt something. There are real people who still are telling these very real stories and have people that are very affected. There's no need to get behind liars and niggas who want to put on this fucking mask and perform. There's already too much pain outside. You don't gotta boost niggas that want to perform. It's unnecessary. All that shit with Cardi, I don't care how many times he changes his voice. Buddy has multiple priors of being disgusting to women. And now niggas talking about Cardi about to drop. Like, okay. And the nigga hit his baby mom's like, what are we doing? So if we get back to Kendrick talking about watching the party die or making the party die, closing that bitch down, calling the people and making a report, it has to be unbiased across the board. And we have to ask, how serious are niggas about the reform? Because at the moment, while I do very much want to believe Buddy is for real what he's talking about, and the raps are going to stay, but they're going to stay, how serious is he for real? And in reality, how actionable can this all be? Because it's not easy. And the moment shit's not easy, niggas run. I don't think he's of that ilk, but my man is also getting older. He's got a family. He's got kids. He's got shit to do. A legacy to uphold. Life to continue to build and live. How he sticks to it and what it looks like, we'll see. Does he just end up being another flawed human individual? We'll also see. All I know is we're saying fuck academics to his face. We need to keep that shit up. Keep that shit up immediately. Fuck Maul, Joe Budden to some degree. Keep all that shit up. Niggas talk too fucking much. It's not enough raps. A nigga who passed out on stream being weird could never say nothing to me about no fucking rap. The fact that niggas they are paying some dude, you look fucking crazy. Go read a book, nigga. Do you know who Grandmaster Caz is? Hit the block. The fuck? Were you here when 24s came out? Why are you getting opinions from DJ Academics? Maul. Look, let me be real with you, right? I don't know what Maul does to this day. All I heard was from a disrespectful nigga who I love to death, he was the fucking Rockefeller weed man at some point or some shit like that. I know nothing about the nigga. He just pops up one day next to Joe Budden. Next thing you know, I'm transcribing interviews with the nigga and he is glurping the owl crazy. And I don't know what that's about. Where do these niggas just pop out of nowhere and start having opinions? You did not earn this. Where are your credentials? Your background? Who co-signs you, nigga? You at least had
credentials is a bar.
You had to come by a radio nigga at some point. Like, even with Ebro, and you know, Ebro's an old man sometimes, but honest to God, he's a straight shooter. And he has experience and he has knowledge and he comes from something.
Yes, we give Ebro his 10s.
These niggas don't come from shit no more. So I'm all the way here for saying, fuck niggas not coming from shit, not trying to come from shit, not wanting to come from shit. And you gotta tap back in with niggas who do come from shit, who want to come from shit, and they don't come from shit. They want to help niggas who do come from shit. So I hope that.
Where are your credentials?
Where are your credentials?
I had I'm sorry.
Nah, it's real. So I hope Kendrick is. I really like. I hope he really bought what he's saying he bought right now. I know Super Bowl is going to kick crazy ass. I'm super hyped for that. I really want to know more about the set list, and if we do get an album soon, I'm ready. Because that last joint, it took me a second for it to click, but it clicked. And I want to, thank getting older for that one. But yeah, I just hope he really bought it. And I hope them raps stay crispy because they've been good, even though they've been a little, you can tell Buddy is pushing 40 with a family sometimes. So the Soldier of God shit. I got levels. I love Lecrae to death. He's a great rapper, but it's the reason why I stopped listening. Fuck with my Jesus niggas heavy. You got to be careful with how you put Jesus in them raps. DMX did a
Fuck
great
with my
job of it.
Jesus niggas heavy.
Fuck with my Jesus niggas heavy.
I'm done with you.
Larry,
But
stop. Larry,
it's the truth.
Larry, I'm stopping you.
Please.
It's the
Larry,
truth.
you gotta stop
But
the
yeah,
shit. Larry,
that's
Not too
all.
much. Not too much on Craig.
I mean,
Not too much on Craig.
no, he's legitimately the truth. And I found it, and I didn't know he had an interview that Kendrick mentioned him in. And that's where I think they said the song got dropped a little bit. Like he had to have heard that interview that came out a few days ago. So it's super recent that he recorded all that shit.
Yeah, it came out last week.
Yeah, but Lecrae is a cold nigga. Like, not my subject matter for me personally, but he's a very good rapper. And during the tail end of the blog era, he had it. Like, again, he picked his lane, and I'm really happy that he picked his lane because he has done incredible things in that lane. Ain't shit going over here, but a whole lot of evil. Like, I mean, on his side too, it's evil going on, but
Yo, please, with you and your shenanigans.
But hey, but yeah, that's it.
Oh my gosh.
Kendrick rapping. I'm happy Kendrick rapping.
Kia, this is your friend?
By the way. That's my girl. I love her to death. We be having these talks.
My sister, yes.
Yeah, we be on the phone having these little conversations and shit. You feel me?
This is my best friend.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Kia.
Yes.
Wow.
So,
I know. It shocks me sometimes myself.
That's crazy. We are so many phone calls behind. That's so crazy about you. Like,
hey. My life's been. I have a dog. You have a niece now.
It's so crazy.
I know.
I love it. And Dylan's getting so big.
Dylan's getting so big.
So yeah, I gotta get you caught up and tell you about all my other rap stuff because we'll be here forever if I keep talking. But yeah, shout out Doechii, she a real slider. Shout out Mavi, he a real slider. Shout out all the real sliders. Shout out rap niggas. Fuck DJ Akademiks. He's a bitch for real, and that's it.
Well,
you know what? That was
beautiful work. This is the culture. This is the heartbeat. This is the pulse. This is what we represent.
Honestly, truly,
honestly, truly.
Yeah, the whole second verse is Kendrick basically threatening to shoot all you niggas. He said he want Drake's head cracked. He said, I want my eggs cracked, ring fingers.
You uncultured swines. Oh my god.
But yeah, that's basically what he said. He called out all you flashy ass niggas. He said y'all corny as hell, making nasty decisions using money as a backbone.
Sounds about right.
He just said he want niggas on the head. Then he asked God, what will Lecrae do? He want to be empathetic like D1. I can't believe he referenced D1.
He lost me at D1. I'm not gonna lie.
The D1 reference was crazy, and then D1 went on Twitter and was like, "Yo, I love you, Kendrick. If you need me anytime." I love hip hop. I love the culture, man. And yeah, basically, Kendrick say what he always be saying, which is he stood on motherfucking business and he said the party has just died. I agree with y'all. I think this song is a testament to just where we are as a country, where we are as a culture. I think we're thriving for what's real. And real ones that get it gonna get it, and the ones that don't. But it was a hell of a moment because all I know is I checked the group chat and it was like Kendrick just dropped. I said, like, wait a minute. Kendrick is really the boogeyman, guys.
He is. Him and Jay-Z. Wow.
Wow. Funny.
That's crazy. East Coast, West Coast shit. I love it. Riley, what's good?
Thank God. I thought y'all would never give me the mic. I was
first of all, we did, and you came up here and was like, "What was the question?" So we had to put you on pause for a little bit.
Yeah, because I wanted to jump in when y'all was talking about the Tupac shit. By the time that passed around, I lost my train of thought. I was like, damn it. But since y'all on the Kendrick shit, now I can jump in at that. Like, watch the party die is appropriate because the party been going on even before the pandemic came around, and it's like I'll just say this: it's like you've been at the club since midnight. It's now 8 in the morning. Why don't you want to leave? Why you don't want to go home? What's waiting for you at home that you're avoiding that bad? People don't want to sit with their thoughts. They don't want to sit with shit that make them think. Hell, they're too lazy to read 280 characters. You know how bad it is? It's like Joe Claude. That means they can hardly read. He's right. He's fucking right. Even from the grave, he's right. And it wasn't, people take it as a shot towards Drake. It wasn't a shot. He took one shot at Drake. The rest was a spray towards all of us, the consumers, the media, who pass off. I'm glad Homeboy said fuck ball, fuck academics, because I feel the same way. Niggas ain't even niggas is spreading subjectivity as objectivity. And you ask them their sources, trust me, bro. I talked to Drake, bro. I knew where the fuck Will was headed when Double XL was sourced, where they listed Maul as the sources. I'm like, what the fuck? You serious? This is where we at with it now. And Kendrick, what Kendrick's been saying reflects what I've been saying consistently, and it's that people don't like hip hop for real. They don't like hip hop. I doubt they even really like hip hop as a culture. They don't even like words. They like the person, they like the aesthetic, but they like how it makes them feel. But they do not like words. It goes all the way back to when lyrical rap was starting to get called
Them not
dictionary.
liking words is crazy though.
They don't.
I think it's beyond that too, because I saw a lot of criticism about the production
Can they
too.
read?
And it's like, damn, like, do everything gotta be over a fucking party beat? The party's over. Did y'all not get the memo? Like, come on, bro.
That's why I use the club, and that's why I use the club analogy. You've been at the club since midnight. It's fucking 8 in the morning. Go home, get your shower, get your rest, and go to work, nigga. Why you want to turn up all the time?
Niggas
Why
got demons they running away from. I'm
Why
telling
you
y'all.
exactly? Why you want to turn up all the time? Why you listening to drill music all the time, nigga? You don't have ops. You work at TSA. The fuck you talking about? Why you listen to drill music all the time?
The terrorist is your ops.
But it's like, I mean, but there's a time and a place for everything. And this reminds me of one of my mutual followers. I fucked with OG Stu, but he said something about Doechii being refreshing, and the way he worded it. He used it in the same frame as Rhapsody. You know how niggas be weaponizing Rhapsody against the quote unquote thought rappers.
I hate it.
Unfortunately.
We hate it.
Yeah, and it's like first of all, Doechii isn't the only female artist that raps what she's rapping about. I list plenty of female rappers that do that. Latasha, Nitty Scott, Rocky Snyder, and a couple more. And the second of all, you don't have to pin them against each other, but at the same time, it's all about balance. There's a time and a place. You got to check the temperature when you want to play drill shit, and sparingly. There's a time and a place where you want to play
I
party
never want to
shit.
play drill shit.
But when you play that shit 24/7 all the time, it's like, I'm gonna think something's wrong with you. Like, why you don't want to listen to R&B?
Maybe
Why you
sexy drill.
why you don't want to listen to pop music? Why you don't want to listen to slow music? When's the last time you listened to Anita Baker without having to clean, nigga? It's just soothing to me.
Without having to clean is crazy.
You know what? I will say, to be real with you, to be honest with you, is because the grandmas are the babies. You feel me? Like the youth, the way how these people gallivant, they got motherfucking Cubans at 1 year old. They motherfucking got Teslas for little, mimic cars. Like the babies got fucking bands and shit. They got iPhones. Like, these niggas is not reading. These niggas don't have no education, and the parents honestly is to blame because they out here listening to NBA YoungBoy. That's what the kids, when they in the womb. When they in the womb, they listening to NBA YoungBoy from the womb on, and they come out just that same way. So we got to start over. I just say, God, we got to start over.
We're
Whenever
losing
you're ready,
recipes.
the recipes are lost.
Losing
I was
it.
about to
mean,
say we lost them. Yeah, we are
and
beyond
meanwhile,
losing recipes.
and meanwhile, lyrical artists like Kendrick Lamar, Lupe, even going as far as back as a Tribe Called Quest, getting a bad rap because lyrical rap is posed as boring. I don't want to be preached to. I don't want that lyrical, miracle, spiritual shit, which has a bad rap. It's untrue. It's generalized poorly. Like there's plenty of lyrical rap that's entertaining, thought
Now niggas don't
provoking.
get jiggy to comment. Whoa, what's going on in society today?
Now all of a sudden the light is corny. Get the fuck out of here. Don't get away from me.
Could
But
In the
never be the case.
but
Could never be the
light when
case.
you need
exactly.
some.
But
Ooh, chill
lyrical
out,
but,
chill out.
but lyrical rap is entertaining when there's substance. Kendrick is providing substance. It's just either people don't like Kendrick or like I said, people do not like hip hop. They like the person and they like the aesthetics. Why do you think someone like Ice Spice is around? They like the pretty girls like the pretty bitches said. They think they would resonate with it. Even though some of them are underwhelming, in my opinion.
Oh, the B words now.
You know,
Relax,
you know what,
we
you know what
But
it is, bro. Like, not to
no,
cut
no,
you, not to cut
go
you
ahead.
off, because as a writer myself, I peep a lot of stuff. I've worked with some people, but I peep like the shift in what happened, like especially with hip hop, is now because it's a lot easier to make and everybody has access to do stuff. Especially around when the Young Thugs came out, the Uzis, all that kind of stuff. Before you had to be able to spit. You know what I'm saying? You had to be able to spit at 16. You had to be able to rap. You had to come with lines, metaphors, storytelling, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? You had to be real. Like we had an era where we was listening to Big Sean, we was listening to, Pusha, Kanye, Kendrick, Lupe, all these everybody all simultaneously. You know what I mean? Eminem, you know what I mean? Like Drake, like there was so many rappers like just competing at the same time. Wale, like J. Cole, it was so many happening at the same time. And then it was like a merger to where we had the melodic stuff start sleeping in and it was a lot easier to make. And it was a lot easier to play in clubs. You know what I'm saying? Now this stuff started to rise and the other stuff started to fall down. And then we stopped seeing features and all these other rappers. Like remember there was like 3 rappers on the same song and we all used to compete and see like whose verse was the best and this, that, and the third. Like I grew up like trying to compare like, yo, who had the best verse on this record? Now these records are just melodic and cool. And of course there's a time and place for everything. But the hip hop became a lot easier to make. And now it came to the point where like, all right, well, I don't have to, write a whole bunch of records or like Kendrick or J. Cole or actually have to storytell in order to be hot. You know what I'm saying? I could go on Pro Tools, throw on Atari's Auto Tune, make some melodies up, and boom, it's that easy. Especially as songwriters, I can't even tell you, especially once you got that pocket, I can't tell you how easy it is to make a hit record now. You know what I mean? Like it's certain artists I've said no to just because it's just like I don't want my name attached to it. Because it's so easy. I want something to be like meaningful, but a lot of people are gonna say yes so they can get the bag, so they can get the royalties and all this other stuff. So it's honestly a cycle because a lot of those, like for example, Deontay Hitchcock or whatever, I can't pronounce his last name, but he's a great rapper. Great
Hitchcock.
Hitchcock, thank you. He's a great rapper. You know what I mean? You got artists like that. Denzel Curry is a lot of people. JID, like people who should be at the forefront of hip hop right now, and they're not because people want to turn up. People's social,
JPEG
especially
Mafia.
especially with especially with the social media, how it's slowed down everybody's attention spans. It's applied to music. You know what I mean? Why do you think Doechii dropped a mixtape of 19 songs and it was only 47 minutes long? You know what I'm saying? Like people is not going to listen to a song if it had like if all those songs had 2 verses or more, it probably wouldn't have done as well. And it's unfortunate because a lot of great songs have time and bridges. People don't write bridges no more. You know what I mean? Like we've gotten away from that. So again, we're losing recipes, but I'm glad to see now there's at least a shift coming because before this beef, I haven't seen anybody throw genius lyrics on the TL that weren't for memes and actually try to break things down and break lyrics down in a long time. So I hope this is inspiring because I'm a rapper as well too. Like I'm not even gonna tell what I got going on, but still like it's inspiring to see this on the TL, and I'm hoping it's inspiring like the young generation to be like, oh yeah, I could actually write about real stuff and not have to do this, that, and the third. And another thing, last thing, we used to have R&B singers do the hooks to these rapper songs. Now all these rappers want to do their own hooks. That's also another problem. These niggas need to
Gotta
stop.
get back.
These niggas need to stop doing their own hooks. You know what I'm saying?
Please.
The
The
white folks,
recipe.
these white folks need to go back to making bands because ain't no more bands no more. You know what I'm saying? Like they're producers and they're rappers now. And then we got to get back to putting R&B singers and real singers over rap records as well too for singles. And that's my take.
I
Yeah.
wanted to circle back to something you said because I think it was so important. Because I saw a video circulating about Charlemagne's response to Kendrick essentially saying like the overall message was basically like good luck with that, bro. I feel like we're too far gone, so yeah, it was essentially his energy. And I feel like, to your point, while overall we might be so-called too far gone, I do feel like we do need leaders in the space who are going to continue to bring authenticity and integrity to the music industry through their art, because regardless of what the overall culture and industry is doing, there are people who are coming up and there's artists who are watching this shit who need that inspiration. Or for lack of words, like I felt like it was like an audio hug to people who are still about the music and the integrity of it. And I feel like there's artists that need to hear that and see somebody walking in that for them to feel like, you know what? I'm actually not gonna do what's trending and I'm gonna make my shit because he's doing that and look how this shit is going up. So it's like, yeah, Charlemagne and whoever else, y'all might feel like this point is gonna fall on deaf ears because we're so far gone. But like, nah, actually, niggas really need to hear this shit because they need to see that this works in order for them to continue. Like, it's almost like a passing of the torch to some degree, where it's like you need somebody to be a leader. And I think to that point, like I thought it was such a beautiful thing that he name dropped Nip in that song, because it's like Nip was a leader who was doing exactly that. And unfortunately, he couldn't continue to do that for the culture. And I feel like when he passed, like the bar just, it's just so much potential that we're never going to see now because we don't have a leader like that releasing their art to inspire the next generation of artists to be like, well, these niggas is making music at this level, so we got to match that or exceed that.
To
No,
that
I
point,
agree.
last thing
There
I say, and
are.
I'm done. I'm sorry. Uh, 100%, especially on the business side and the label side. Labels, it's a lot of their fault too, because I remember when I signed my first deal in 2019 to 20 like 2019 2020, a lot of them like they're gonna be starving you for hits. Like you'll be an artistic artist and you'll like they'll sign you because of your talent, because you're artistic and this that and the third, but be like, we need hits, we need stuff for the club, we need club, you know what I mean? And then they start shifting who you are as an artist and diluting you. Now you're stuck between a hard place because you're just like, damn, like this type of music I really want to make, but they trying to push me to make this club joint, this club music and all this other stuff because you got to pay the studio and pay everybody to recoup. So it's a lot of that. And Kendrick's also talking about the labels, because I don't know if y'all saw, but Atlantic Records just dropped 50 of their artists and a bunch of label partners. So it's a shift happening. Independence is literally pretty much where everybody needs to be going right now, and the labels aren't. There's no sustainability in labels. Like if somebody, to the artists in here, somebody offer you a deal, don't take it. Like I'm telling you right now, so do not take that mug. Look for a pub, not even a pub. Look for an admin deal, or look for a distribution. Because right now, labels it's a lot. It's very wacky out here. But yeah, it's so much going on. But labels and A&Rs, they push for artists to shift their sound as soon as they get signed. I won't say for all, but most. Like yo, like we got to have a club record, we got to have a single, we got to have that, and that causes artists to steer away from the originality because they know like the shit that they're trying to push is a lot easier to make, and it just becomes a cycle. Like Lil Uzi, he was rapping over a lot of Kendrick stuff on his SoundCloud days. Like I don't know if y'all heard, but Lil Uzi can spit like actually rap like Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? But he even said like once I started making music like this, he started seeing the thugs and all this stuff. It was a lot easier for him to come up in the industry, and he stuck with that. But nigga, like he can rap.
If skills sold, then truth be told, I'd probably be lyrically Talib Kweli. It's the same. Ho's still right. And the thing is, there are artists that make the fuck. There are artists that make the music that Kendrick is saying, but I think part of that problem is we won't give them the some of us won't give them the time of day. Why? Because they're not Kendrick. They're not Cole. They're not Chance. You doing high numbers? You have any clout? Are you attached to a name that we're familiar with? No? The fuck out of here, nigga. Whatever, nigga. I'm sure. Yeah.
Well, I think that goes back to the conversation we were having about who we have as gatekeepers, because audiences are passive listeners. Like whether y'all as artists want to accept that or not, like I feel like an honest conversation needs to be had about who the audience is and what music listening looks like for them. You cannot essentially force these listeners to listen to your shit. You have to give them a reason to, and or it has to be force fed to them through curation and gatekeepers and so on and so forth. So if we are putting people in position and supporting gatekeepers and curators who are essentially feeding listeners bullshit, then that's all we gonna get. Like that's what is gonna become mainstream. That's what's gonna get supported, and everything's gonna get overlooked. So I think a conversation does need to be had about or had, excuse me, about who we are uplifting as like these huge influencers and these huge curators, because they are who your audience or potential audience is listening to and looking to determine what they listen to, because a lot of these listeners, they're not digging for music. Like, and I think when I see artists essentially doing like going on rants and tangents about how people aren't listening to their music and y'all only want to listen to bullshit, they're not digging for music. And like once we start there and have the conversation there and you recognize like they're getting their music from curation and influencers, then you then start realizing, well, we need to be putting better influencers and better gatekeepers in position, because that's who is essentially determining what the audience is listening to.
You're a
110%.
1,000% right. You're 1,000% right, because I was gonna say on the Charlemagne tip, it's disappointing because he is supposed to be a quote unquote one of the gatekeepers to the culture. So when he says certain things like, "Oh, it's not gonna go, nigga," because you sitting there saying that it's not gonna fucking go, instead of putting
Exactly.
some backing behind it and saying, "Yo, this could potentially be, the next hit. Let's give this shit a listen." You know what I'm saying? Like, and that to me is always the frustrating part, because we know how this shit at least some of us know how this shit really operates. And I do be feeling bad because a lot of artists, they're probably never gonna succeed in this dream. And it's not to kill it, it's not to be a bearer of bad news. It's to be realistic because of how it plays out, because it is majority 99.9% a money game and a number game. Like, these niggas don't give a fuck about nothing
And it's who
but
you
the
know.
money and who you know. And who you know, shit, depending on how high up they are, they probably done been through some bullshit or the one putting people through the bullshit. So it's like, it's a crazy fucking industry that we really, really, unfortunately have a passion for. At least the business side. The creative side suffers because of the business side, I will say and agree. But the gatekeepers like Charlemagne need to do better as well. And we need to hold them accountable or debunk these niggas from their position some way, somehow, because they can't continue this negative rhetoric of what's not hot and what's hot, when we know payola plays a fucking big part. I don't care what nobody says. Niggas is getting paid because it's a part of marketing. Like, let's be real. So with that being said, we just need to really be honest about what we're listening to, because there's certain artists that should have never seen the light of day that unfortunately it's viral. Like, we do train the audience. We do teach them what to listen to. Like, even as a DJ, I tell people all the time, like, you as a DJ, you make people have fun. Like, that's your fucking job. Like, you are the controller of the dance floor. So if people are not dancing, it's probably because of you. You know what I mean? So you have to make it, do your thing in that regard. And the same thing is for music. So, but go ahead. And wait, we have
We got a
also
lot of hands up.
yeah.
Ooh.
Let's give people that haven't spoke yet a chance to speak.
Let's start with Hefe, and then we'll go
Yeah,
to
Jefe Holmes.
Monk Gayasto. I might be saying that wrong, but yeah.
Yo, what's going on, y'all ladies? How y'all doing?
Bless, Holly Favor. What's good? What you got to
What's
say?
good? What's going on? What's going on? My name is JT, by the way. I had to write these down real quick because being in spaces, you could really get lost in the conversation, because damn near what everybody's been saying has been correct. It's been the same thoughts that I had. So I literally had to write a few things down just to keep it off on track, and also just to keep the conversation going. Also, just to make sure I get my thoughts across clear cut as possible. So
We appreciate that
Right.
respect, black man. We
listen,
appreciate that. Thank you,
I'm
black
a
man.
right.
Go
Look,
ahead.
the writer in me made me do it because it's like everybody saying shit that I agree on, and so I was like, you know what? Let me just get some points across real quick, so I won't take it too long. But I'ma just get right into it first and foremost. I just like to say, as a fellow Kendrick Lamar stan, 2024, I feel fucking vindicated. Like literally everything that's been going on this year, dog. It's like niggas been screaming this from the high mountaintops since the beginning of the fucking blog era. Niggas had to sit there and deal with all these other niggas try to make Kendrick third of the big three, saying at the time, Drake and Cole was better than him. Granted, that's subjective in the matter, but that's neither here nor there. But it just feels good to just see Kendrick do what he did and just pretty much be on the right side of history and spank Drake ass. I still love Drake music and whatnot, but he still spanked the fuck out that nigga and made Cole bow out and pretty much made everybody from fans, media personalities, everybody eat their fucking words with everything he's did. Also, I love what he was saying about gatekeeping as far as real rap and journalism. I swear, when I was running and listening to you, I feel like I wanted to run through a brick wall because that was some real shit that was necessary.
I mean, you sound like you breaking the table, brother. I ain't gonna hold you.
Nah, I'm at the table right now. My bad, my bad. But yeah, like that felt very good to hear because that's been like that for a while. I think one thing that caught my attention that ties to this conversation was I had seen something that Scotty Beam mentioned on her IG her IG where rappers and rap journalists need to start speaking to each other again, and most rappers don't really do interviews with other platforms like the Breakfast Club because a lot of times most of these other bigger platforms, they're not really there for the art, they're just there for the mess. So I get that part, but I also miss when we had real rap journalists that were able to speak with rappers and that are able to be a great representative of the culture in general. And it ties back to what I think what Milan said as far as teaching people how to listen to music. Like that actually was a unique perspective because for me, as someone who grew up on rap and seeing how most listeners treat it, like I hate it. I hate that shit because it's like it almost it revealed how I just realized in my 33 years of life, I did not realize how so many people just casually listen to rap music. Like, I did not realize how people were casual rap fans. Like, I grew up in that shit and I saw it in high school. I thought, everybody the CDs going online to that Piff, going on to LimeWire, downloading the mixtapes. I just thought everybody else was on it. But then
There's people that don't even know what that is.
Yeah, that shit blew my mind when the first time I heard somebody listen to an album on fucking random, I was disgusted. That didn't make no sense.
Dog. That was I just like, y'all niggas really didn't grow up on rap. And also that's the main thing I saw too throughout the whole entire beef, just based off certain people's opinions. Like for me, I can only speak for myself. Sometimes when I hear people talk, especially when they talk about music, I can listen to them enough times and I can just pinpoint exactly what type of music they listen to. That's just me just looking from the outside in. But it's just like that shit's just so disappointing. And it's just like every time, and I think what Riley said, niggas do not like rap at all, bro. Like I could just tell by their opinions, like niggas do not like rap, and I fucking hate that shit. I hate when niggas get down on lyrical rappers because it's not about a bop, it's not about the hoes, this, that, and the third. I hate that shit. There is nothing wrong with having a diverse palette. There's nothing wrong with lyrical rap. As long as it has some substance, as long as it has some quality raps like Kendrick or Lupe or anybody else that's rapping about some dope shit, as long as it has quality raps, lyrical rap is just as good and just as raw as rap. Some of the rap thing. I mean, there's a time and place for all the rap, but like I just need niggas to diversify they listening buzz. I need them niggas to diversify their ears, bro. You can't just listen to turn up shit all the fucking time. You can't just listen to shit where it talks about getting money.
That's a big reason why a lot of the songs are so short now because of people's attention spans. Like we used to have a good 3 to 4 minute song. Matter of fact, we started off with 12 minutes if we want to be technical and honest.
Shout out Stevie Wonder.
Okay, 12-minute songs. You know what I'm saying? It just kept, the bridge was never ending. So that being said, we went from 12 to 7 to fucking 3 to now a minute and 2 seconds sometimes.
A hook
Be
and a
glad
verse.
be glad if we get that. Okay,
Yeah,
be
man.
glad. So yeah, shit definitely has changed.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I'm just saying, like, seeing how things are now, I think is to help with changing rap. We definitely need certain elements that were from the old school back in place. That will bring a little bit more balance to rap in general. And I think with change, I do feel that there is a shift that's going on with the music. And you can tell because up until this point, it wasn't really much going on with rap, especially with last year. There was some good projects. There was some great projects still to this day, but a lot of it came from most of the rappers and good artists that came from the blog era. Like Q had the best album to me. Him and Future got that down. RB been good. But I feel like with the change that's going on with, burning everything down, I do feel like it's gonna take some time. And also, as much as I love Kendrick, I hope he's true to that because trying to burn everything down, realistically speaking, even also with American, the whole system that we're in now, to burn it down, that's just gonna take some time. And he can't be just the only one that's doing it. It's a lot of people. It's a lot that comes with burning a whole entire system down that's not working. It takes time. It takes years, and also it's a lot of shit that a lot of people have to do. Kendrick himself, he got to do as well. It takes time, but I definitely got faith that it can and will happen. I just hope and pray that it's some other up and coming rappers that seen what's going on right now. Up and coming rappers, creatives, journalists that seen what's going on right now, and realizing that we can have the power that we once had. Because we don't have the power like we used to. Like there's it's it's crazy as hell to see rap where it is in the mainstream world, but a lot of us don't really have. We don't really own anything. We don't really own shit like that. It's just crazy to see, and I just hope with what's going on now could inspire a newer generation because I definitely see a shift for sure. Because rap this year, outside of a few projects, has been a bit boring, and all I can talk about is the Kendrick and Drake beef. That's the only thing I could talk about outside everything else. Everything else just comes off just boring and is lame and shit like that.
Boy, do I got an album for you.
Which one?
You know about Mavi?
Who?
Mavi.
No, but
Oh,
I can check it out.
I'm about to fuck your head up, my nigga. Mavi. Go look that little nigga up. I swear to God.
Mavi?
Mavi, my boy. He just dropped the album, I think, about a month ago called Shadowbox. Album before
All
that,
right.
also gas. But when I tell you, it's niggas like him. He's like 24, 25. And
Oh,
for all my money, he the best nigga rapping, breathing right
Shadowbox.
now.
It's called
Shadowbox,
Shadowbox.
yes, sir. Yes,
Oh no, I'm
sir.
gonna check that out in the gym tomorrow for sure. I'm gonna check that shit
Yeah.
out, man. For
Now I don't
sure.
know if you want to do it in the gym, but
Oh, is it what type of rap? Wait, what type of rap is it? What type of rap is it
So
though?
it's that particular project is a little bit on the darker side. He wrestling with some real heavy shit, some really
Okay.
real shit. So I don't know if you want to do that one in the gym, but on the ride home from the gym, go ahead and turn that on because there's niggas like him that exist, and they're again doing the kind of rap that he has the kind of cadences that keep you engaged, but the
All
material
right.
be real as shit. Like one of the lines he said up the one song, nigga said stumbled in success, but in reality, I kicked in the door, my Achilles tore off my leg. That's some of the
Ooh.
hardest shit. That's some of the hardest shit I heard all year. I'm not
All
gonna
right.
lie. So you
Nah, I'm
see,
gonna check it out though for sure.
yeah,
I'm gonna
he's
check it
he's
out.
like that. And I think into the greater point of niggas being able to get back to something that was lost. Not even so much lyricism, because the thing that I had to learn when I was growing up, I was in my little backpacker shit when I was 15 and 16. I was shitting on everything, Young Thug, Keith, the whole nine. But getting older is realizing the stories exist in those raps as well. They just
Yeah.
you have to find them and you have to give it more grace. Not so much to the point where you're letting bullshit go,
Right.
but
Right.
at the same time, I was listening to 24s by T.I. today, and a nigga opens up the song, mad ignorant. You
Yep.
know, sitting in your
Yep.
drop top of Chevy with the roof wide open. My partner's looking at me, see my eyes open because I've been drinking and I've been smoking. I'm flying down 285 and I'm focused, nigga. That's a crazy fucking bar. I don't condone drinking and driving. That's crazy.
Nah, of
But
course, of course.
but the fact that the feeling of being locked in, of doing what you want, having
Yep.
your way, being like
That-
it's a fucking jump start to your battery, and
Nah, it's
that's some
fire though.
real lyricism. So it's
Nah, it's
a
good.
So I think as long as niggas are keeping their idea and their definition of lyricism open, and we
Yeah.
can all identify when it's real and when it's not, a lot of niggas can't get off some of
Now
the
that's
shit
true.
T.I. was getting off. He had that perfect balance. And that's why a lot of niggas who are overly lyrical, it's like, all right, there's some triple and quads in there. I love that for you, but nigga, this is boring as fuck.
Nah,
You still have
that's
to
true.
master that. If not through production, you gotta
Yeah.
master through varied
You
cadences.
gotta know how to make a fucking song.
You
Yep.
gotta know how to make a fucking song. Or
I
if
agree.
nothing else, just make them tricks palatable. Cause I love a good
Right.
rap trick. But
Oh, nah, for sure. If you could you could be as lyrical as you want to be. You could be a lyrical, miracle, spiritual rapper. But if you don't know how to make a good song, that shit not gonna really matter in the long run. I'm glad that you said that. I used to be on some backpacking shit too when I was younger growing up. But then I went to college and I went to HBCU, and I met a lot of niggas from Atlanta and New Orleans that put me onto a lot of shit, and it helped me to see that other side. Like listening to Gucci, listening to Yo Gotti, just seeing that side. I've been on T.I. and Jesus music even beforehand, but like it was their lyricism and their style of rap that's what got me. But like I said, one thing you mentioned as far as rapping, being real and being good at rapping. Like as long as you real, as long as you talking some real shit and it's believable and you are good at what you do, for me personally, you good in my book. But
yes, sir.
that's that's what's missing. Like just realness. Cause a lot of times there's just too many niggas out here. There's too many motherfuckers out here that's just doing shit for show. And it's just like too many people, like I forgot who said it, but this is too many it's a lot of artists, a lot of rappers that should not have gotten famous at all. That shouldn't have not have came up. But due to the powers that be, they have they have gotten famous, and unfortunately, there's some rappers who might not see that in the future. Unfortunately, it's a harsh reality, but I try to keep it positive because I do see a change can and it will happen soon at some point. It's just a matter of when because watching the only thing that keeps me hopeful is the blog era. Seeing how rap was before the blog era and then after the fact. That's part of the reason why I'm just like, you know, it'll come eventually. History always tends to repeat itself. It's just a matter of when and how, especially in this new world we're in. I'm not sure how it's going to look, but I do have faith that there's going to be a new crop of rappers that's going to come back. It's going to bring back that real shit again. Like I know it's coming. I don't have a clue when.
Okay. All right. We thank you for your opinion. Young Hefe, JT.
Appreciate it. Appreciate
All
it.
right.
I think we got one more person in here too. Gyre. No, we told Monk Gayasto he could say something, and then let's get to Gyre, and then we gonna wrap this up, guys.
I'm just gonna keep it short. All I was gonna say is to follow up points made about gatekeeping, we also suffered from the loss of good cosigns. Um, I hate to blame Drake, but he just co-signed everybody, and that made everybody think that they could really make it in the industry and be a part of the culture. But that's not even the case. Like I think about the people I listened to as a kid and who co-signed them, and the reason I listened to them was because they were co-signed. So if the greats can kind of restore that, I think we'll be in a good place.
I love that response. I'm actually so glad you came up here and said that. Thank you for adding that to the conversation.
Yes, agreed. High key agreed. Who next? Who all next?
Gyre, actually, before you even start speaking, I do want to say if y'all are not familiar with him, y'all should definitely check his music out. He is actually
Oh shit.
to me, he is essentially embodies a lot of what we're talking about with his rap music. I fuck with a lot of stuff that he puts out. Unfortunately, I'm an R&B curator, so I can't do much with his music, but I can tell y'all to check it out.
God damn, that's love for real. I don't know what to say, but thank you, bro. It's all good. Like, yeah. I just want to hop in and really say that I feel like this conversation beautiful. Or just the fact that like, I don't know, bro. I really like this rap shit. I really love this rap shit. And I feel like this is like an embodiment of what this shit started for. And again, like I'm a young nigga, so I had to do my Googles and my research and my history or whatever. But from what I know this to be, I feel like, you know what I'm saying, it started as a vehicle for niggas to get shit off. It started as a way for niggas to have these types of conversations. And like, I know niggas not about to say it on the nose, like, but we really talking about some shit. You know what I'm saying? We really talk about like the effects of like late stage capitalism and white supremacy, and like a conversation that's real layered and nuanced. And we can't really have these conversations because of what everybody talking about in this bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think again that's why this shit's so beautiful. Like, and I think, I don't know, I feel like with the history that we have, bro, hopefully, and this is like just wishful thinking, niggas like y'all and niggas like, I don't know, anybody that think themselves to be, you know, the leader that they want to see, niggas can use the history that we have, like, you know what I'm saying, and actually take these conversations and kind of shift them towards action, or at least before we go on like a different way of thinking that could then shift to, you know what I'm saying, like artistically we talking about Renaissance shit, but like culturally and community wise we talk about revolution. And I know that shit, like everybody said a bunch of times, like that shit don't happen overnight, and that shit take niggas dying, that shit take shit getting out of here, that shit take habits dying that we are really accustomed to, and that it might take lifetimes in cycles and shit to like really clean up. But I think like, I don't know, I only been alive 25 years, and it's the first time I ever seen conversations like this had this way, and not, you know, not skirted around and not like beat around the bush. And I think it's real fire that the art form that I fucking love is the thing that's making these conversations happen. And I'm grateful to be a part. I'm grateful for all y'all for being a part as well. That was about it.
Thank you. We need a resolution. We need a resolution. We appreciate that so much. Please. Oh, I did not do that. Okay.
That was an accident.
I was like, oh, okay. Well, Kia, do you want to close this out, sister?
Oh yeah, I'll close this out. Damn. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was another Twitter Spaces. Do we call it Twitter X? I don't know. You name it. I
Be
claim it.
serious, kid. Be so serious.
Oh
Be
shit.
so serious. You know what time it
Oh.
is.
Whoa.
Nobody's ever calling this shit X. Niggas know what it is.
That's
Actually,
a fact.
I put X on the graphic.
I mean, you had to for design and purposes, but we all know what time it is.
Yeah.
That shit Twitter forever.
Nah, but we appreciate all of y'all for joining us today.
Yeah, no,
We
thank
are
you
gonna
for
be
real.
starting to do spaces on Sundays as well. But those will be occasional, so we'll definitely let y'all know on the timeline. Follow the podcast page, Reasonable Dialogue. I will actually share it's in all of our bio. Boom. Tap in with us every Thursday at 7. And y'all ain't gotta go home, but y'all gotta get the fuck out of
Out of
here.
here. Shut the fuck up. Damn.
Thank
Shut the
y'all.
fuck up. That's hip hop. Y'all don't even know that. Anyways, get out of here, y'all, youngins. Bye.